This is Sports Sound
from BBC Radio Scotland.
Good evening and a very warm welcome indeed from me, Richard Gordon. A sense of déjà vu in the air for the third successive year. The domestic Scottish football season comes to a conclusion here in Dingwall. 2 years ago, it was the most dramatic occasion imaginable as Ross County eventually saw off Partick Thistle. It wasn't quite as dramatic 12 months ago as Raith Rovers were consigned to another division in the Championship, and County maintained their top flight status. They have been in the top level of Scottish football for 12 of the last 13 years. They've been in the Premiership for the past 6 years. Are they to extend that run, or will it be Livingston who will be heading back down the A9 in celebratory mood this evening? 8 o'clock kickoff, full live commentary to come here on Sports Sound with Michael Stewart, John Robertson and Liam McLeod. We'll hear from both managers. We'll set the scene, and we'll also hear from the new Kilmarnock boss. Stuart Kettlewell has been confirmed in the role, and he's been chatting to the media. So plenty to keep us occupied between now and the 8 o'clock kickoff. Let's start with the team news from Liam.
Yeah, well, Livingston come here with all kinds of belief, not just because of the form they've been in, but they've won here already this season when they did so in the Scottish Cup. Back in January, they won that one 3-2 after extra time. They've won their last 3 away games at Morton, Hamilton and Partick Thistle. And they've only lost once on their travels in their last 11 road trips. So they will come here confident, but the tie slightly changed complexion at the end of that first leg, thanks to that Ronan Hale penalty. It's a contentious award, but it was awarded. Hale converted expertly, but they're still without a win in their last 10, albeit they've drawn their last 3. And Don Cowie's made 2 changes to his starting 11 this evening. Ashworth and Samuel dropping out. Jordan White comes in, and as does George Harman, who scored that dramatic late equaliser against Partick Thistle 2 years ago that took that playoff to extra time and then ultimately on to penalties. So it's Amisa in goal for County. Back 3 there of Wright, Nightingale, Campbell, Ifeti, Kenna, Randall and Harman across the middle. Nisbet supporting White and Hale. The bench, Logan Ross is the sub-goalie. Phillips, Tompkinson, Ashworth, Samuel, Smith, Robiston, Williamson and Coyle make up the bench for the home team. 1 change for Livy. Finlayson, who came off the bench the other night on Thursday in the first leg in West Lothian, and he replaces on loan Hearts midfielder Macaulay Tate. So Jerome Prior in goal, Brandon McGowan-Wilson and Fraser. Of course, it was Wilson who scored that goal just before half-time for Livingston in the first leg. Finlayson, Pittman and Kelly across the middle, with Smith and Montano up there, with Muirhead the top scorer. The bench for the Lions, Hamilton's the sub-goalie, Donnellan, McAleer, Yengi, May, Nottingham, Shinney, Tate, Lowell. The referees, Nick Walsh, and Stephen McLean has VAR duty for the final domestic game of the season, Richard.
Liam, excuse me, Liam, thank you very much indeed. The first few fans beginning to make their way in. I know that I think it's 600 Livingston fans and just under 5,000 County fans. So it is going to be a cracking atmosphere inside the Global Energy Stadium this evening. We will count you down to kick off and count you down to the climax of 24-25. John Robertson, thoughts initially on the Ross County lineup and those 2 changes that Don Cowie has made?
Yeah, there's no doubt he's sticking to his system, Richard. It's a 5-3-2, 3-5-2, with Nisbet being the only one getting forward. And what I do like tonight is Harman's a much more attacking, getting forward, because normally the last few weeks Don Cowie's had the 5 have had the look of 5 centre backs, with Wright on one side and Campbell on the other, etc. But they didn't really get forward. They weren't really getting in areas where you'd want them to put balls into the box, especially when you've got Samuel and Hale up front. Now that they've got Jordan White, they've got someone bigger to go and attack there, and he made an impact when he came on in the first leg. So that looked, and it's round pegs and round holes for tonight. You've got a cup final basically, and you've got your 2 top goal scorers starting for you. Hale and White have scored over 20 between them. I think it's 25-26. So they'll be a big threat to Livingston in that respect. And it looks a more balanced outfit for me tonight. You know, with Harman coming in there, even Brown on the other side, for me would have been the perfect thing. But I think he's been injured, so He's gone with Akil Wright, who will get forward, but the three in the midfield can match up against Livingston's three in there. And as I say, they'll be mighty relieved to be coming up here tonight and starting at 1-1. But for me, I think it makes some slight favourites. I did the game for open all mics, 2-2 after full time, and a dramatic last minute winner in extra time. And who would bet against it being just as dramatic this evening?
Yeah, I think the playoffs have served up so much drama that it would be no surprise if that is the case. Livy, and we'll hear from David Martindale, we'll hear from Don Cowie shortly, Michael, but it is just that one change from the lineup from last weekend, or first leg.
Yeah, and obviously Finlayson will come in at right back and it'll push Jamie Brandon into the middle of the park. I do wonder whether it's just David Martindale contemplating and thinking greater physicality. Macaulay Tate, not somebody that is going to be as physical as Jamie Brandon. Brandon likes to mix it. Macaulay Tate, somebody that, you know, obviously wants to just get on the ball more, and whether this is how he envisages this game playing out, being more of a battle than trying to get the ball down and play it. I think for both sides, clearly, in a similar vein as to, you know, the cup final, by any means, you just win it and forget about how the performance goes. On that front, congratulations to yourself and Liam. It sounded like the two of you were both struggling there. Clearly been celebrating. Yes.
Look, I'm much more used to it than Liam, of course, because he's a little bit younger than me.
Well, congratulations anyway. It was great
thank
scenes.
you. Look, it's been phenomenal, and I've no doubt at some point in the first hour we'll touch on that, because it was just one of the biggest cup final upsets that we've seen in a number of years. It is, though, in the main going to be about tonight, and of course the sides do square up absolutely dead level after what was a dramatic first leg in West Lothian at the end of last week.
Every goal, every game, every kick of the ball, live. Ross County versus Livingston.
Stoppage time will be 2 minutes. We're into the first of them. Corner Livy off to our left. Stephen Kelly with it. It's a Livy head that meets it, headed into the 6-yard area. They're desperately trying to get this over the line, and they have got Danny Wilson rifles it home in first half stoppage time.
For all the set plays we had, Livingston have one right on half time and punish us with it.
Takes a touch, keeps it in, drives it across. There's a man down in the area. He's looking for a penalty. Is Jordan White. Jordan Beaton's had a look at it and he points to the spot. Ross County have a penalty. Here he goes. Hale, goal! 1-1, and this tie is going to be right in the melting pot for the second leg in Dingwall.
I think he was a wee bit soft, but listen, with VAR, you're going to give the referee a decision to make. I don't think there's a lot in it. I'll take it in the chin.
It's evenly poised now. We go back to Dingwall. Pitch is in great condition right now. It's all to play for.
We have the ability within the change room to be playing the Premiership next year. We have the belief to be playing the Premiership.
We're playing against a good team, but I also have got a lot of belief in our group.
Last game of the season, so not really looking forward to it.
Every goal, every game, every kick of the ball, live.
David Martindale and Don Cowie speaking there in the wake of that first leg. We'll get more up-to-date thoughts from them as we continue the build-up to the 8 o'clock kickoff. Let's just dwell on that first 90 minutes plus all the stoppage time, of course, and it was the stoppage time in both halves that the real drama unfolded. What were your thoughts, Mikey, on the opening 90-odd minutes?
It wasn't a classic. It was better than the game the previous night, the Europa League final, which was brutal. But, you know, that's the point I was just making about here tonight as well. Either manager's not really going to care about the performance level. They're just going to be focusing mostly on making sure that they get the result. I've got to say that I think Livingston are a better side than they were last season when they were in the top flight. You know, I've seen quite a bit of Livy, and I think they're a good balanced team. I think, you know, they try and play, and it's not like they didn't play in the top flight, because it became a sort of constant sort of tripe with the team that they were just physical and they didn't play. They did try to play as well, but I think this side is a far better footballing side, and I think they've got still that the remnants of a team that go and compete. So I would never write County off, because they've They've got the experience of having done this 2 seasons previously. But they struggle to score goals, and they have done for a good spell. They've got goal scorers in the team, but I think in terms of creating, they do struggle. I think Jordan White is a sensible addition because he causes chaos for any opponent, and I do think that Ronan Hale and Jordan White feels like a natural pairing at the top end of the park. So the first game, it wasn't a classic. I wouldn't be surprised if this one went all the way like the cup final on Saturday.
That's just what you need to hear when it's an 8 o'clock kickoff in the Highlands. And then, like John Robertson, you don't live in the Highlands. But hey, look, it's one final call for the season. Will County kick this one off thinking they got out of jail, John, to a certain extent?
Yes, I don't think there's any doubt about that. As Michael said, it wasn't a classic, but I thought, you had the early header, which we'll never know if it was over the line or not because there's no goal line to on, but it ends up, it's a terrific save. But that was about it for Ross County. They didn't really create enough menace to trouble Livingston. Livingston got their noses in front, and I think we all agree it was petering out to a 1-0 victory for Livingston. And then it's a penalty decision that, you can look at it all the way you want. If you're on the end of that, you're gutted. If you're the beneficiaries of it, you're delighted. And as a fan, you want it. If it's your team that's been fouled in the area, your opposition fan, you think it's harsh against you. It was given, it was scored. So what it has done is it's just set it up perfectly. Michael said, you've said, Liam said, it's a cup final. It's a winner takes all. And as I said, I've got to say that the Scottish Cup game in January was a terrific football match. Both teams went at it. It was 2-2, as I say, after full time, and both teams had big chances in extra time before. David Martindale threw on his 3 subs with 5 minutes extra time to go, and they all provided the chance for Shinnie to knock it in. So if the games like that, we're in for a treat tonight. There's no doubt about it. It was a really, really good game. But that will give Livingston a lift. They'll come up here saying, well, we've not interfered. We've been up there already. We've won up there. And by the way, the pitch is miles better tonight than it was in January. Yep. It's magnificent. But normally you'd say that should suit the home team. But Livingston have, as Michael just touched on there, a far, far better footballing side. And they'll come out here tonight going, wow, I'm really looking forward to getting the ball down and playing. So it's a completely open game. And this is credit to Livingston. Normally, you would suggest that the Premier League team at home, all square, would be clear favourites. They're not. They're not tonight. I think it's a very, very even game. There is no result tonight that would surprise you. I've still got this, and I know everybody has gone for the shop. They've gone for Livingston. I still just think County might have enough to keep their Premier League status.
I know the squad has changed a bit, but there are still players there who have tasted it over the last couple of years. To what extent will the experience of having come through the playoffs, the final, and preserving their top flight status for another season, John, to what extent could that have a part to play tonight?
It's hard. It's a difficult one, Richard, because you could argue the fact that they've got experience, they've been here before, and we've touched about it all season that when we saw Hearts sliding down the table again and Neil Critchley being sacked, if people are thinking, oh, are they up for the fight? Will they be able to get up the fight? And young Liam Fox managed to take them through there. And you know, people are saying, well, County, it's nothing new to County. They're always down there. They're always battling. They know what it takes. They know what it takes to go over the line. But you can't keep going to the well. You just cannot keep going to the well and getting away with it. And this is an opportunity to say they came back from the dead against Partick Thistle. They cruised through last year, so this one could be anything tonight. As I say, and you know, they've got experience there, guys that have been through it. That will help a little bit, but they've got guys who now have got to look at this game in 90 minutes. There's a lot of them in there, the likes of Campbell, etc. are in there tonight, who have never looked at this. Amisa, never been in this situation before. Hale, not been in this situation before. Nightingale, etc. Nisbet. They're going to have to deal with the nerves tonight because it's, you know, it's staying up or you're getting relegated. So it's, all intents as well, we're saying it's a cup final. It's a relegation playoff. So they're going to have to deal with that. The Livy lads, lots of experienced Premier League players there that have been there, been around the block and such. So again, they'll have nothing to fear, and being the slight, and I mean the slight, underdog tonight, I think that gives them a wee bit of fire in their belly as well. It's just so even. You know, it's hard not to sit in the fence, but I just think County might just have enough.
See, it's funny that Robbo says that, because I tend to agree with him, but see, if I was looking at both teams, I think Livy are actually a better, squad.
Yeah, I think
team.
the boys said that in the first leg. Before the game, we were looking at it, and you're looking at it man for man, and actually you like the look of that Livingston squad.
Yeah, but I wouldn't, and I said it just before, and Rob was mentioned as well, you just don't write County off. I think that the big thing for them tonight is making sure that they don't gift anything away, because, as we've already touched on, they do have trouble creating. I think they've got ability to score goals, but it doesn't come easily for them. So defensively, they've got to be really on point and sound. And being at home, definitely, over those. This is obviously the third season, but being at home in the second leg is a benefit. Of course it is, and hence why it's the top flight side that have the second leg at home. It certainly played out that way in the first year against Partick Thistle, big time. Getting extra time and going the full distance here at Victoria Park, and I just wouldn't be surprised if it was a similar scenario here tonight. It's very, very. I mean, look, I don't think any of us would be surprised with any result, how it pans out. But I think the key for Ross County is that if they don't gift anything away defensively, I would tend to agree with Robbo and just verge towards them being able to keep their top flight status.
Well, history is on County's side in terms of the last couple of years. You could argue that history is also on Livingston's side, because their record in the Premiership playoffs absolutely outstanding. They've played 7 ties now. They've won 5 and drawn 2. They came up, of course, through the playoffs in 17-18, beating both Dundee United and Partick Thistle.
They could draw this one and lose.
And they could draw this one and lose. So look, either side can look for little omens, I suppose. It is all going to be down to the 22 guys who get things up and running, and they're all out there going through their warm-up right now. More and more fans just beginning to make their way inside the stadium. It is going to be brilliant, actually, to see the stadium, John, just quite as busy as it's going to be. It's going to be a good old atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you get some really good crowds. You have the Old Firm come up, Aberdeen, tremendous support. Hibs Hearts always fill the behind the goals and around the side, and United over the years has done it as well. But it is tonight that the locals will be out in force. They understand where the club are. They understand what's required tonight. And I said, it's got everything. It's just sitting there. It's a beautiful night for a game of football. There's no wind. The pitch is in incredible condition. When we, as we said earlier, we consider what it was like in December, January. David at the grounds has done an incredible job here. And it's a perfect night to go and show what you're all about. And as I said, that the Livy team do create chances. They're good passers of the ball. They've got a front three who are very, very dangerous, and they're a solid, experienced back four. County haven't, and you saw a bit of that in the first leg. County don't create an awful lot through open play. They throw in some corners and long throw-ins to cause havoc in the box with the height that they've got. Livy have got the height to match that. That's another bonus for Livingston, is that they've got some big lads in there that they can deal with County's physicality. So, County will be a bit more direct than Livingston tonight, but they can get it done. If they get the ball in the Nisbet, they can cause problems. It's just whether, as we say, Michael said, it could become mistakes. Is it going to be glaringly good football? We all hope for that. But it's difficult to really look at an outstanding winner tonight or a clear favourite, because you look at the back four of Livingston, there's good, solid, don't give a lot of goals. I think there was 9 goals they conceded all season at home, so they don't concede a lot of goals. County don't score a lot of goals, but midfield area, the 3v3 in there, I would say Livingston are probably the technically slightly better, but then you've got the front three of Livingston who have got goals in them up against a back 5 of big County players. So again, even you look at those little things, it might come down to the keepers. Pryor's been great. Amisa's been, I think he got player of the year here. So There's just, wherever you look, it's very, very difficult to split them.
Yeah, and there you go. Evidence, of course, came in that first leg, albeit Livingston had the best of the game. It did finish one apiece. We are all square as we prepare to get up and running here in Dingwall. 35 minutes to kick off. More to come from John Robertson and from Michael Stewart. Liam is set for commentary as the action gets up and running. We'll hand over to him in good time as the players come out, and there will be a real sense of anticipation, expectation settling on this stadium. And fair play to the Livingston fans. I mentioned 600 Livy fans coming up. They're not renowned for a large away travelling support. That is a good effort by the Livy fans on a Wednesday night, so they no doubt too will add to the atmosphere. It is sports, and we're live here on BBC Radio Scotland. Let's start to get some thoughts from within the dressing rooms. We can hear first of all from the Ross County manager, and that of course is Don Cowie, who's been chatting with Ian Auld.
Don, you were winners in 2024 in the playoff final. You were assistant manager in 2023. You know what it takes to get over the line. Does that give you a little bit of an advantage here today?
Well, we've got the experience of doing it, but at the same time, you know, you take each season as it comes, you know, each opponent. You know, this year it's Livingston. The more, you know, the chances are that when you come up against someone in the Championship, they've had a very good season, so they come into it in really good form, just like the other two teams have. We've seen on Thursday night the challenges of playing against Livingston, but, you know, we're back at home, a one-off game. The game's evenly poised. As you can see, the pitch is fantastic, and really there is no excuse.
Back in 2023 against Partick Thistle, you came into that playoff final losing on aggregate. You were winning against Wraith last year in the playoff final. This time it's a draw. Does that give it a bit of a cup final feel to it, winner takes all?
Yeah, I think so, because, you know, like you say, it's just a one-off game now. Both teams know what's at stake. Like I say, it's evenly poised, and you know, I just hope it's a good game, and we're looking to come out on top.
As you mentioned, Livingston have had a very good season in the Championship. They won a trophy as well. It was very tight on Thursday. You'll have seen them close hand on Thursday, and also they came up here and won in the Scottish Cup early in the season as well. You know what you're up against tonight.
Yeah, definitely, and like I say, we definitely didn't underestimate the game on Thursday night. We knew the challenge, you know, going down there, the artificial surface, which is never easy. So delighted to come back to Dingwall with the game, you know, at one each. It means now it's about us. The onus is on us. We need to show more quality. And like I say, with the way the pitch is, there is no excuse for that. And that's what I want to see. I want to see a team playing on the front foot and carrying that goal threat.
Momentum's a massive thing in football. That late penalty from Ronan Hale, does that give you a little bit of a momentum in terms of mentality? Livingston looked like they took it hard at the end, but you guys were, you know, rightly so, celebrating that late equaliser.
Well, it was an important goal, because like I say, it was important that we came back here with a game at one each. Now it's up to us to make the most of that. You know, I think naturally when a team scores late on, it gives a good feeling, a good vibe in the dressing room after the game. But in the grand scheme of things, the game is still there, you know, evenly poised, and it's up to us, like I keep saying, to go and, you know, play on the front foot, show that we're the Premier League team, recognise and respect the challenge of Livingston, and we need to play at a high level.
And from a personal point of view, how are your emotions? Any nerves coming into this one?
Well, there's the emotion that you're going through of being in the situation, but like you say, I've dealt with it before in terms of being assistant manager and then interim manager last year, so I know what it's about. It's important for me, as I always do, try and stay calm, you know, stay focused, because that's what the players need to see at an important time, an important game, but I've got so much belief in them.
Don, all the best today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don Cowie with Ian Auld. When Ian was asking about how his emotions were, and I've no doubt, Michael, that there bound to be nerves inside, but my goodness, whether it's positive or negative, whatever's happening to his club at any given time, he doesn't have keep a poker face. Don Cowie, doesn't he?
He's very calm and collected, Don Cowie. Yeah, and I think that also shows you, just to touch briefly on what happened at the end of the game last week, when you saw that raw emotion from him, not just the celebrations, but in terms of the fan getting involved with Tremarco as well, that not pleasant scenes, but you actually saw that raw emotion, which you don't often see with Don Cowie. And I think he's quite similar to Jimmy Tillene in regards to, you never see him getting too up nor down. And perhaps Don Cowie will end up being as animated and as happy and celebrating as much as the Swede was on Saturday with the cup final victory. Because make no mistake about it, this is the equivalent for Ross County. If they're able to maintain their top flight status, it's a huge achievement for them to have been stuck in this position 3 years in the trot. It would be a real release of emotions, I would imagine. I wouldn't be surprised if you actually saw a little bit more from Don Cowie if they're able to get the victory here tonight.
Well, it's absolutely crucial, isn't it, in terms of the future of the club and everything that it brings to remain in the top flight. He also was quite open there, Michael. We need to show more quality, and he's identified that. They didn't play well enough, essentially, in the first leg.
Yeah, well, I couldn't disagree with him. You know, that's why the penalty kick at the end of the game was hugely important as well, because there will be a sense of coming away from the game where they didn't do a great deal, but they've managed to get a draw. They're now back in Dingwall. So, yes, they're aware that they need to perform better, but I suppose the message that Don Cowie will be sending over as well is, look, if we do perform well and do perform better than we did at Almond Vale, then there's nothing to fear. We've got a good opportunity to be able to stay in the top flight. And you know, for just to touch on Livingston briefly, David Martindale, I think, deserves a fair bit of credit, because I think he's recruited well in the summer. I think they've put together a pretty impressive squad, all things being equal, considering that they've been relegated. And I mentioned already, I do think that they've got a better team. They've got a better squad. And when you look at them, you know, last season it just felt, and I know we've spoken to David Martindale about this in terms of all the off-field troubles that the club were embroiled in, and obviously he's front and centre with the club. I do wonder, and I think he said it himself, that it was draining, and you could sort of get a sense of that last season. Whereas I think relegation's not been a bad thing for Livy if they're able to get up in this game, because
they've regrouped.
Yeah, they have regrouped, and they're a better team, and they're a better watch, and they seem like they're in a better place if they can get this victory here tonight.
The other thing, we'll hear from David in just a moment or two, but the other thing Don was saying, John, and he repeated it maybe 2 or 3 times, no excuses tonight.
He's a breath of fresh air in terms of, you know, he calls a spade basically. It's everything's, he's very eloquent, he speaks and he's easy to understand, and he doesn't dress anything up, he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He just tells you as if his team's played badly, he'll tell you his team's played badly. If he thinks they've been harshly dealt with, he'll tell you that, and if he thinks they've played well, then he'll tell you that as well. And that's basically him all the way through, and he's remained calm, he's remained, you know, focused on the job he's had to do, and he understands what it means tonight. That, you know, if you strip everything back, 99 times out of 100, the home Premiership team all square with the Championship team, you'd expect them to win it, and that's basically the attitude he's taking. And I think sometimes that's what your players need to hear. Listen, we're the Premiership team. We're 1-1. We're at home. We should be beating this team, and that's what he's trying to apt out of. That is, go out there, show that Premiership quality. What Michael's just said there as well is right. Livingston for years now have been attritionalists. They've been battling against relegation. They've used their pitch to their advantage. They've used get rid of them. They bring that in the league to their advantage, and they've hung in there. This year, basically, as I said, the shackles have been taken off. Go on then, guys. Go out there, see what you can do. Go and play. There have been a breath of fresh air for Livingston fans. Must be looking at them this year going, wow, this is great. We're attacking teams, we're scoring goals. We've dropped down in the division, yeah, but we're decent side. And this is the big thing in their favour as well. I saw Falkirk dismantle Hearts in the League Cup. Livingston didn't lose to Falkirk all season. They beat them 3 times and drew once, to show you the quality that they've got there and the quality of the football player that they've got. So, you know, don't say the right thing. There can be no excuses. You're the Premiership team, you're at home. Yes, they've come on the back. I think that's 9 games without a victory now. Livingston have been winning games all season, so therefore there's that little bit to add to the mix, that they are coming in here with confidence, whereas Ross County will be thinking, we've not won since March. So, you know, if you're an away fan coming tonight, there's lots and lots of pointers where you should be feeling very confident. But if you're a home fan, you should be saying to yourself, wait a minute, we're the Premiership team. We've beaten Aberdeen up here. We've drawn with Hibs. We've drawn with Hearts. We've drawn with, I think, with Rangers. We've taken Celtic all the way. We've drawn with Dundee United. They've had plenty of good performances here, Livingston. But they have to produce it tonight or they go down.
Should they go down, should it all go wrong tonight, John, do they stick with Don Cowie, given everything you've just been saying about him?
Yes, I think they do. I think he's well liked here. He's a local lad. He's well liked, and he's done a decent job. I think he's tried to put his stamp on it this year. He's changed the formation to a 5-3-2. He's had a few injuries to important players. Chilver's doing his cruciate in training. Hasn't helped our cause, because since he's dropped out of the team, they've struggled to create. He was a guy who had that bit of quality, but all teams have had injuries. And again, Don Cowie's never used that as an excuse. He's not said, oh, well, we've lost this player, that player, this player. Yeah, he understands that the players he's got are more than good enough. They've got a very, very strong squad. They've got a very, very strong bench. And I don't think Roy McGregor would put him under the pressure of sacking him. I don't think so. He's sacked managers for life.
Yes, he has.
Let's don't be thinking about it. I might have this completely wrong. I might be reading the room wrong. But I think he may well stick with Don Cowie if he goes down. But I think there's a feeling around here with Ross County that they'll manage to scrape through tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I do sense there is that positivity and chatting to various people behind the scenes. Michael, would you agree with John that if it doesn't go County's way, that Don will be given the opportunity to bring them straight back up?
Well, if you look at obviously the dual partnership of Stuart Kettlewell and Stephen Ferguson, you know, it was fairly similar.
Yeah.
I know that correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they were only interim when they went down. Yes. I think, yeah, but they had been given the chance, and I do get the sense that if Ross County were to go down, that I think Roy McGregor would stick with Don and look to try to build back up. But I mean, look, I think it's a foolish task to try and predict what Roy would do as well. Yes. Because he's someone that obviously has got his own mind on things as well. But it would be good. I think it would be good to see Don Cowie being given the space and the time to build Ross County back up next season if they were to be relegated. But I've got to be honest, I've got a soft spot for County, and I would like to see the Highlands continuing to be represented in the top flight. That's no slight on Livingston, because as I've already mentioned, I think David Martindale's done a really good job to reinvigorate Livy this season. But just being honest, I think I like seeing the team from the Highlands in the top flight.
Right, let's hear from the man who hopes they will not be in the top flight. David Martindale has also been chatting with Ian Auld.
Davey, one big game to go for your season. What's your emotions like heading into this one?
I'm actually genuinely, honestly looking forward to it. No anxiety, nothing. I'm just really, really looking forward to the game. It's why you're involved in football. These are the games you want to be involved in. Obviously, I'd rather done that automatically through promotion, but it's a big game, last game in the calendar in terms of Scottish football. So, really, really looking forward to the game.
How's your players? Because that last-minute penalty on Thursday might have hit some teams. Have your guys responded after that?
I think we've done enough to win the game. We never won the game. I think on hindsight, I think it's a penalty. You've gave the VAR officials the decision to make, so I can understand why it's a penalty, albeit I think it's soft. So I don't really look too much. I don't feel hard done by, because at the end of the day, we've gave the officials a decision to make. So it's part and part of the course, to be honest, part of football. So it'd be nice to come up here with a lead, but then you could be coming up here with a lead with maybe a wee bit of complacency setting in. So all to play for both teams, which should lend to a pretty open game of football.
I was just speaking to Don Cowie there. He's got previous in this final, and indeed the last 2 seasons he's been involved in the playoff final, and every year it's been a different result heading into the Dingwall match. This time it's a draw. Does that give it a bit of a cup final feel to you today?
Yeah, you're both teams coming up here. There's no advantage really other than maybe Ross County are at home slightly. A slight advantage there. But for me, it's just whoever wins tonight is going to be playing Premiership football next year. So hopefully it's third time unlucky for Ross County. We've been over this course ourselves previously, and hopefully we can replicate that from, I think it was 2018, 2019. Hopefully we can replicate that for ourselves.
You controlled large parts of the game on Thursday. You've also been up here this season and won in the Scottish Cup as well. Does that give you extra belief to get into this one?
Yeah, but I do think it'll be a different game, and we've kind of tweaked what we're going to do to kind of suit that. I think the game's going to be a wee bit transitional from Ross County's point of view. So Jordan's coming in, the game's going to be a wee bit direct. We're going to have to win our first contacts, going to have to win our second contacts, but that's against the ball. On the ball, we need to get the ball down, we need to play, we need to get wood from our game, and we need to play to our strengths, and hopefully that's what the boys can go out and do.
Davey, all the best tonight.
Cheers, thank you.
David Martindale chatting with Ian just a few moments ago. Interesting, John. He's looked back. He's clearly we knew he would have done, but he looked at the footage and accepted that it was a penalty. That's albeit he decided felt it was soft, but he said it was a penalty. So there's no reason for the boys to be down on themselves.
Well, we've all said that. You know, you look at it at the time, it was definitely on the soft variety of a penalty kick. You know, but what he said is bang on. They've given Danny Wilson's given the VAR official something to look at, and he's thought, well, you know what, I'll let John Beat make his own decision. John Beat then looked at it and thought, oh well, there's enough in it for me to change my mind. On another day, it might not have been given, but it is what it is. And as I say, it set the game up beautifully, Richard, because the last time County had no option but to go for it. 2-0 down at Partick Thistle, then 3-0 down, and they threw the kitchen sink. Last year they were in complete control of the tie, being a couple of goals up coming into the second leg. But tonight it's great, and you know, we're looking out there. County, we say always play 5-3-2. The warm-up was a back four, so I'm wondering if Don Cowie's maybe thinking, you know, maybe it's time to change. But I don't see, looking at their personnel, and I'm not seeing where he could possibly go a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2 maybe. But that might be a wee tweak from Don, thinking I need to change something tonight to get a slightly different result. But listen, David Martindale, what I did like there, and I just said to Michael, could that be a little pointer? He's come up there with I'm really relaxed about it. I'm really looking forward to it, and it's a great position to be in. We're coming up here, we're all square. We know what we've got to do. As you said before, Partick Thistle, me initially have thought 2-0 up, 3-0 up, right, we'll just dig in and defend for our lives now. Raith Rovers come up last year, had to have a goal, left themselves wide open to be picked off, which they were. Whereas tonight, you know, it's still going to be, I think it's going to be cagey to begin with. I'd imagine so. Teams will feel each other out, feel each other's formation out, and then, as I say, the longer the game goes, it could be anything you want it to be. We're hoping it's not like Michael mentioned the Europa League final, which was a very, very poor game of football. I watched Wimbledon Walsall today, probably one of the worst first halves of football I've ever seen, until I think Wimbledon scored an injury time first half. So sometimes you can negate each other, you can cancel each other out. I've just got a funny feeling this game is going to be a really, really good watch tonight. It's going to be exciting. It's the last domestic game of Scottish football. Everything is set up perfectly for a really, really good finale to the Scottish football season.
Already touched on the fact that the pitch looks great, Michael. There's just been a little rainfall as well, which is going to add a little bit of zip to the surface. That's going to suit the players.
Yeah, that'll help. And Rob was spot on. The park is top drawer. You know, I was briefly just talking to Stephen Ferguson before the game, and they were mentioning how they had to spend a bit of money on it after the winter. And to be honest, I'd actually forgotten about the troubles that they had, because when you're looking at it, it looks perfect. He's talking about they're going to have to rip it up in the summer, and they're going to put down a new park. But you're looking at it there now, and it's absolutely top drawer. So, a big well done to the ground staff here, because they've done a great job, especially when you consider the problems that they were having in the winter there with the weather that they had.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great. It was down to the weather. I didn't realise they were ripping it up. If you're ripping up your pitch and starting again, you might want to be in the Premiership from a financial point of view.
Yep, absolutely. Or have somebody like Roy backing you.
Yeah, look, he has gone above and beyond, hasn't he, over the years. Been a huge, a massive part of everything that County have achieved. Just before we take a wee break and hear from Stuart Kettlewell, the new Kilmarnock manager, Davey talking there about being completely relaxed, and to be fair, John, he did sound very relaxed.
And again, that, you know, we're all looking for little pointers here, Richard, just something that can give us that blip. But you heard it, you know, Don Cowie's very matter of fact, no excuses. I'm having no excuses about tonight. We have to go and win the game, end of. Whereas David's just kind of go, well, you know, I'm quite content with what's happening, and we're in a good position. You know, we're looking forward to it. So there's that. It's that wee edge as a Livingston come up here thinking, no, you know, we're in a good position. We can still go win it. Or County thinking, oh, we have to win because we're the Premiership team. It's just, as I say, it's fascinating. You know, you don't see any team running away with this game tonight. It's going to be all the way in, and that's what we want. We want a duel here, and basically tonight the best team win. You hope the best team wins, and we're hoping it's not a contentious decision. It's not a controversial decision. We're looking for some really good, fast-flowing football. Both teams are capable of it. Both teams are capable of giving a spectacle. As I said, the cup game early in the season was a tremendous match, and if we get something like that tonight, we're in for a treat.
I think we're all looking forward to this one. We are edging ever closer. Less than 15 minutes now to kick off. More and more fans making their way in. The two sets of players still out there for the moment, but within the next few minutes they will be leaving the pitch. They'll be heading back up that tunnel. They'll be going through their final preparations, and when the dust settles, when that final whistle blows, whether it is at the end of 90 minutes, of 120 minutes, or indeed a penalty shootout, we will know the makeup of the top 12 and indeed the championship for next season. Will it be Livingston coming straight back up, or will it be County saving their skins for a third successive year? Live coverage coming up here on Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland. Away from this game earlier today, Kilmarnock confirming the appointment of Stuart Kettlewell as their new manager to replace Derek McInnes, and he's been chatting with the media.
I'm delighted, I really am. I think when you have that conversation in the lead up and the build up to, you know, coming here and the prospect of it and going through the process, you obviously get an idea set in your mind with the connection that you start to have with people, with, you know, my ethos and where I would like the football club to go, and that's sort of married in with the powers that be here and the board that I've spoken to and everybody else I've subsequently met. So for me it's a real positive. For me, I believe that it's a good fit, and then ultimately everything's about when the ball starts rolling, which we all know that, you know, we can talk about so many things about your plans and your processes and all the rest of it, but you're always judged when the ball starts rolling. But I can safely say with the nucleus of squad that's here, it's a group that I'm really looking forward to working with, and as I say, the staff have been first class to this point, and it's exciting for me, and hopefully it's exciting for the football club.
When you were going through the process, Stuart, did the people that were interviewing you, board members, etc., did they look for assurances over what you're saying now about how you're feeling about fan abuse and all the rest of it? Yeah, listen, again, I knew that whatever job that I went into next, that you're going to sit here and you're going to field questions about it and you're going to speak about it. And again, I'm not shying away from it. I haven't done since I'd moved on from Motherwell, but it wasn't something that was addressed heavily in an interview process. You know, you touch on certain aspects and you touch on pointers of that. But again, I certainly wouldn't hide from speaking to you guys or a board or a supporter or anybody on that front. I haven't done to this point, and I won't do moving forward. I guess the kind of hard work starts now, doesn't it, in terms of maybe re-signing players who are out of contract, you know, bringing players in to strengthen your squad. Where are you with that kind of side of things? The one thing and I would need to stress is that I believe there's a really good nucleus of players here, a lot of players that I've admired from afar, some of the lads you know better than others, but we're without question going to have to add some bodies. We've got a lot of out of contract players, we've got that sort of tighter knit group there that know the league and know the demands of
winning games of football at this level. So yeah, we've been actively trying to work through that process as to where we are with contract players, guys that are under contract, and kind of what we need to do. You'll understand it's been difficult in the last couple of days until we get to this point here today, but very much that process has started for us, and to try and make sure that we can be as prepared as we possibly can be when we return in the kind of mid part of June.
Stuart Kettlewell is the new manager of Kilmarnock. His name has certainly been mentioned as very much one of the front runners. Does it look like a good fit, Michael, from your point of view?
Well, it's certainly, I think, from Stuart's perspective, a very good job for him to be walking into. You know, having walked away from Motherwell, you say to yourself, football's a tough business, and when you're out of the game, it's not the easiest thing to get back in, and you can quickly be forgotten about. So I think from Stuart's perspective, he's in a good place to get back in. I'm not overly surprised at having had an interview that he's got the job, because I think he presents himself very well. I think he talks a lot of sense. But it's a big job for him, because there are inevitably, a lot of questions that are asked, and there will be, it's one point or another, a fair bit of pressure that comes along his way, and it's only going to intensify because of the reasons that he walked away before, when that downturn eventually comes at some point. So to answer your question, I think it's good for both. I like to see Stuart Kettlewell back in the job, because I like the way that he presents himself. I think he does talk well, and I think on the whole, he's the job that he done at Motherwell was pretty good. So it's good to see another young Scottish manager back in, but there are caveats with that because of the way that things panned out at the end with the Steelmen. So I'll be interested to see how things progress at Rugby Park.
Well, Stuart would be well aware of that, John. He's already addressed them, and he will know that people will be keeping a very close eye on that. He does certainly take over the job with a bit of a pedigree now, and some fair experience in management.
Yeah, he's got good experience. It's a decent fit. And what Michael's saying there, you don't disagree with that. He does present himself very well, talks very well. He has beliefs in the game that's obviously come over loud and clear to Kilmarnock managers. But listen, nobody in Scottish football, no club in Scottish football is going to get a manager who doesn't have deficiencies or doesn't have baggage. That's just par for the course. We're not at the stage where Celtic. Yes, certainly they can bring in a manager who, even when they brought back Brendan Rodgers, a lot of Celtic fans thought, no sure, bit of baggage. But fair play to Kilmarnock, to Billy Bowie and his board. They've acted quickly. They took the decision to leave Derek for the last game because he was coming to Hearts. And then you've got the other aspect of it, is you've got virtually the same day Rangers announced that their interim manager's leaving, and there's still no sign of anything coming out of Ibrox. So you've got to commend Kilmarnock for giving Stuart as much time as possible to try and talk to a few players, hopefully before they've gone on holiday, and get them tied up, ones that weren't sure or waiting to see who was coming in, and also gives them the whole summer now to recruit a new players into the team.
Yeah. We know that as things stand, at least 5 of the Premiership clubs will be going into the new season with new managers. Hearts have filled their gap, of course, with Derek McInnes. Now Kilmarnock with Stuart Kettlewell. Still a lot of frenzied discussion about Dundee, Motherwell and Rangers. It's certainly going to be somewhat a new, a couple of seasons where there has been a fair bit of turmoil over the summer, but right now, and of course it could be that 1 or 2 of the present managers, they might move on. There might be bigger and better opportunities arise for them as well. It's certainly, Michael, going to be a fresh look either way to the top flight when we get up and running in 25-26.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on the sort of Hearts front, first and foremost, I think I'm excited for Hearts.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. It's the first what you regard as serious appointment that they've made in a long time, coupled with obviously the fact that Tony Bloom's investment's just been passed with the Foundation of Hearts voting it through, the shareholders. So I'm excited for what the future holds for Hearts. Obviously Hibs have had a great season, huge disappointment for them not to have guaranteed group stage football. and Aberdeen are still basking in the glory of the weekend, like yourself and Liam as well. And that is what football is all about. You know, it's great to see, as I said, Scottish football having someone other than Celtic winning, you know, trophies, because I think it makes for a healthier game. And also, with what you're just remarking on, there's a fresh start for a number of clubs. The other thing I would say is that I think Tony Docherty has been incredibly harshly done by with losing his job, and it is a big call for them, because there will be a lot of scrutiny on Dundee with regards to what they do and where they go. I just think that, granted, it was not a good enough season for them. I think everybody recognises that, but I think everybody also felt like they weren't in too bad a place, and I felt as if this was the time for them to actually just keep their wits about them and back what they had. Instead, they've pressed the red button and ejected the manager, and to a great extent, I think they've potentially caused more upheaval than was actually needed at the club. But next season, it will all play out, and it will present itself whether it was the right decision or not. I feel as if it was the wrong call at the moment, but it feeds into what you were saying before. There's a lot of change going to be happening for the start of the new season.
And you'd imagine that these clubs have to move pretty quickly, as John was saying, and so that they can begin to get things up and running, because let's be honest, a few weeks and the teams are back into pre-season training, and there are the early rounds of the European competitions, there's the League Cup, and before we know it, we'll be midway through the league season of 25-26. That's all to come, because we still have some unfinished business in 2024-25. The climax of the campaign here at the Global Energy Stadium. The William Hill logo, the platforms out there, the little archway that they've set up on the pitch. The camera lens are all trained on the tunnel area, and within the next few minutes, the players will start to be heading out onto the pitch. We've heard from both managers, who both in their different ways sounded very relaxed. The players, John, are also going to have clearly they need that little buzz, that little edge, I suppose, but they do have to try to play with some kind of relaxed frame of mind as well, don't they?
Yeah, but I think as a manager, a head coach, I want them being a little bit nervous tonight. I want them to have that edge that you talk about, that the butterflies in the stomach. Yo, come on, let's get about it and really do it. If they're too relaxed, they might not get to the pace of the game quickly. You've got to snap into tackles early and get the crowd up and get the crowd involved in the game. And then as the game settles down, you're looking for that controlled aggression is probably what you'd be saying to the players. You know, getting about them, but don't do anything stupid, but then win the battle, get the ball down and play. And you know, that's what both managers want tonight, their team to settle as quickly as possible. But they'll be nervous, and you'll expect them to be nervous. And I just think, well, we're going to get a real treat to finish the season off here.
We are indeed. David Martindale just did emerge there briefly amongst the scrum of bodies that are between us and the pitch, and he applauded those Livy fans all the way around virtually the rest of the stadium. It is Ross County supporters who are here ready to make plenty noise. The two teams are out, and we are about to find out which of these two will be playing in the Premiership next season, because 2024-25 is about to come probably to a shuddering and dramatic conclusion. It is the Premiership playoff final, second leg. We're live here in Dingwall Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. The sides kicking off one apiece, Ross County and Livingston. Full live commentary with Michael Stewart, John Robertson and Liam McLeod.
And Ronan Hale's late penalty in West Lothian on Thursday has given Ross County a heck of a lot more belief than it looked as though they'd be taking into this one. Having been outplayed for much of that first leg, having been behind to Danny Wilson's late first half goal, Hale converted the contentious spot kick right at the death that has left this tie firmly in the balance. Livy have already won here this season, winning 3-2 after extra time in the Scottish Cup, when Andrew Shinnie scored what proved to be the winner after 118 minutes. They also come here knowing, as a club, they've only lost 5 of their previous 23 visits to Dingwall. And they are the team in good form. Having finished second in the Championship, they won 8 of their last 11 games. That includes the draw last Thursday. They've won their last 3 on the road. They've only lost 1 out of their last 11 away from home. The Ross County players away in a huddle there. Looks like the rain's gone off for now. There is some blue skies above. Changeable weather conditions in the Highlands today. And this is high stakes. And the final place in the top flight of the SPFL will go to either Ross County, who are looking to preserve their status for the 3rd successive season via the playoffs, or Livingston after 1 season away. A Misang goal for County. Wright, Nightingale, Campbell across the back as Livy kick off in the yellow and black, going left to right towards the jail end. And County in their navy shirts, white shorts, red socks. Ifete, Kenna, Randall, Harmon across the middle. Nisbet supporting White and Hale. For Livy, Prior in goal. Brandon, McGowan, Wilson, Fraser, Finlayson, Pittman and Kelly, Smith, Montagno and Muirhead. As that ball goes out of play for a throw into Livy on this near side. It's a bit level with the edge of the centre circle. On this main stand side, right in front of Brian Rice, the Livy assistant, who is standing on the edge of the technical area. Don Cowie to his right. Cowie's been through this mill before over the course of the last 2 years as assistant to Malky Mackay when they edged Partick Thistle on penalties, having been 3-0 down in aggregate with about 20 to play of the second leg. And then as manager, interim as it was 12 months ago, as the East Pass Wraith Rovers, he was named full-time boss here in the minutes, in fact, after that game, confirmed by Rob McGregor. As that goes out for a throw to County over on the far side. Midway inside their own half, it's bowled forward there by Ifete down the line. They're going to get it up towards Jordan White, who did add something in the second half when he came on the other night. Indeed won the penalty. And his flick header goes straight back into Livy possession, and they've got it clear up the left-hand side where it's nodded behind for a throw-in. Over there about level with the County penalty spot. And a chance here for them to load the box, and Robbie Muirhead on long throw duty again, as he was in West Lothian on Thursday. He's not got much of a run-up between the stand and the touchline over there, but here it comes anyway, bowled towards the angle of the 6-yard box, headed away by the County skipper Randall. Kept alive over there by the on-loan Ranger Robbie Fraser, right to the left. In comes the cross, flicked towards the penalty spot. The effort from Montagno was blocked. He was on the turn, he couldn't quite dig the shot out though. And County block and clear up that far side, but it's a promising start to the match here by Livingston. Michael Stewart.
Yeah, it was, and it was a good block there from Campbell, just as Montagno had turned to have a strike. I think the important thing for County is, and I know the game's just settling down, but equally they've got to try and make a pass. You know, the ball dropped before and it was just thump up the park, and I actually think Nisbet was there to try and slide the ball into it. Instead, it was just thump it up the park. I get it's early on, they're wanting to sort of just feel their way into it, but equally there needs to be a recognition of a pass is on.
Long ball by Stephen Kelly was flicked the wrong way back towards his own goal by Nightingale, and Eli Campbell puts it out for a Livingston throw in again over on that far side, the Livy left, as they attack the goal to the right. Still inside the opening 3 minutes of the second leg here, and once more Muirhead's over there drying the ball with his shirt as he gets ready to bowl this back into the County penalty area. Positive start here by the side looking for promotion. Muirhead in, again it's to the angle of the 6-yard box where Randall heads it behind for the game's first corner. It goes to Livingston. John Robertson.
Yeah, County look a little bit nervous. You said they've not tried to get their foot in the ball. Livingston have tried to put a couple of wee passes there, but very cute. Ball over the top, go and chase that, facing your own goal. They get the throw in, they get the corner. As I said, this is what bore fruit for them in the first leg.
Swinging corner coming up from Stephen Kelly, right-footed from the left, and it comes very deep towards McGowan. He does get something onto it. Randall puts it out for a throw-in with his head out to this near side, so Livy able to keep the pressure on here. You get the long throw right, it's as good as a corner. And Muirhead coming over to take this again. That's what we're seeing on Thursday. He's enjoyed his best goal-scoring season in his career. 18 for the campaign. And a big reason why Livy are here right at the end of the campaign, still with the dream of going up. And it comes from Muirhead. He gets more pace and power in that one, headed away by Nightingale. It's coming back towards the penalty spot for Nuan Kene. Heads it out to the far side. Brandon with a little touch, but it's Gone straight back into County possession over on the far side. Ronan Hale picks up, looks to slip it back towards either Kenna or White, but it goes wrong. Straight to Pittman it goes. And he goes back to Jerome Prior, whose clearance goes straight to Randall. Now Kenna turning it back to Nightingale inside the centre circle, just slipping it to his left for Campbell, who goes back to his goalkeeper. And Amisa hits it long, first time with the right foot into the Livy half, flicked on by White, but there is Finlayson to turn it back to Prior, who clears first time with a left foot up to the halfway line, but it will come back off a County player, Last Campbell, and it will be a Livy throw, which is going to be taken quickly here by Finlayson, who's the one alteration to the Livy starting 11 tonight from the one that started at Ammanvale. 2 for County. Here's Pittman to the edge of the box. Kelly, it's not a great touch, and that allowed Akil Wright to make the challenge. Nisbet goes down, play on. It's shifted by Kenna out to White on the near side, rolls it into the centre circle for Nisbet, probably County's best player the other evening. It's Hale, lovely reverse, left-hand side of the box. Harmon dinks the ball towards the back post, headed back towards the 6-yard line to the smallest player in the pitch. Nisbet couldn't get anything onto it and Livy clear, but that was better from Ross County, and it's really fine link-up play by Ronan Hale.
That was good. That was really good. Started with Nisbet picking the ball up in the middle of the park, and then they're winning second balls. But yeah, it was that was a bit of confidence building there, the build-up from Ross County, and just unfortunate that there was nobody that was a little bit taller than Nisbet when the ball came back in from Effetti when he headed it back into the box.
County without a victory in their last 10. You've got to go back to the 1st of March to find a County win. It was against Kilmarnock. And here they come, lovely ball. Kenna, left-hand side of the Livy box. It's with Hale. Hale's low ball across, and Nisbet taps home! County leads on the night and in the tie. Josh Nisbet inside the 6-yard box, taps it into the net. And for now at least, it is Ross County 1, Livingston 0, and 2-1 to the Staggies in aggregate. That goal, though's been checked.
Yeah, it's going to be checked because it looked tight for the offside here, but good play from Hale. He's peeled into the area there, and exactly what needs Josh Nisbet. The smallest guy in the pitch, he's got the box. Livy haven't trapped him. It's a wonderfully weighted ball for him to slide past Prior. Livy are convinced he's offside, but for now, if that stands, that's the first little bit of football that County are capable. And I tell you what, if it does stand, what a lift it will give County themselves, because it's certainly lifted the stadium.
They're drawing the lines right now, Mikey.
Well, the goalkeeper, Jerome Prior, has got the ball down for a free kick for offside, but yeah, just as Robbo said there, really, really good build-up play again from Ross County, right on the back of what we saw just before with the previous attack. Ronan Hale picked out Nisbet perfectly, and the timed run and finish was very good. Got to say, very
Goal's
good.
Going to stand here. Goal's going to stand. So Ross County have the lead on the night and overall as they look to preserve their Premiership status. And it's an early salvo as well, coming inside 7 minutes. Huge moment.
Yeah, it's exactly what they needed. As I say, it'll calm them down a little bit. It'll get the crowd up behind them, and now the game will open up. Livingston will have to keep going. As I say, they started brightly, Livingston. You've got to say that Dave Martindale would have been delighted, but suddenly 2 quick attacks from Ross County showed what they're capable of, and this time Hale goes from goal taker to goal maker, and it's a wonderful ball into Nisbet, and it's a really cool, calm finish.
I mean, look, it really is quite incredible, because we were just talking before about how Ross County struggle to create.
And here comes Effetti, Michael, down the right. He's been challenged well by Fraser, who knocks it out for the throw-in. In fact, it's going to come back off the County man last, Michael.
But that, I mean, that again, you know, they pick out Effetti on the right-hand side. The moment before the goal where they had a nice bit of build-up play, they got the ball into the box. I mean, Robbo's seen plenty of County as well, and as have I, and they've always been competitive, but at times you struggle to see where the goals are coming from. So far, you're looking and going, by the way, they've got a bit about them here. And I always am surprised when Jordan White doesn't play, because I think he's great foil for the other types that they've got in their team. It's not to say you become one-dimensional. I just think he brings a good balance to the team.
4th goal of the season for Nisbet, and his most important to date for Ross County. Remember, the lowest scorers in the Premiership going up against the best defence in the Championship, but it is County who draw the first blood in this second leg. And David Martindale is furious with the concession of the goal, and you can see the frustration all over his face down there. Here come Livy, it's Pittman just turning it back to Brandon, the skipper. Down the line for Finlayson, and Brandon knocks it off Kenna. Now for a Livy throw-in, they'll look to respond quickly here. Conceded late in the first leg, and they've now conceded early in the second, and this tie is turned. Finlayson with the throw, midway inside county territory, to Kelly, back to Finlayson. Poor touch allows Harmon to clear. First time into the Livy half, where it's knocked back to the goalkeeper by Fraser, who's tried to return it to him. Prior, he's dealt with it well, Fraser on the far side. Controls and knocks it back to Prior, who, well, he was kind of caught completely cold by his defence there when Hale's ball found Nisbet to the simple task of tapping Ross County into the lead. 2-1 in aggregate now.
I know the goal obviously changes things as well, but even in the beginning, the first moments, and Livy had started quite brightly, County have got a real energy about them. You can see the messages put over the importance of this game. They're shutting down and grafting.
Finlayson out to Smith, right-hand side, the county box, gets it in. It's a good, decent clearance there from Eli Campbell, breaks to the goal scorer Nisbet, but his ball out the right.
He's got to chip that over the top,
Yeah,
Liam.
yeah.
He's on the halfway line, he's onside, he's got the full Livy half to just drop a ball and let Ronan Hale go and run for it.
And Hale, you fancied him beating the defender there, but it went straight to the Livy player, and now it's back with Prior, who plays it short to McGowan. That uber experienced central defensive partnership for Livingston was exposed at that goal. McGowan and Wilson, and a long ball down the right for Livy's knocked out into touch by Randall for a Livingston throw-in, and Ryan McGowan again involved at the back there at the start of that move, and it will be Muirhead over the throw, about level with the county penalty spot on the main stand side off to our right. We've played 11 minutes, County with a 1-0 lead on the night. Muirhead to bowl this in again. Into the box it comes towards the right angle of the 6-yard box, headed behind there by Campbell, I think it was, and it will be a Livingston corner. Their second of the evening, but this time from this near side as they look to hit back quickly here. They won't want that to fester. In swinger from Muirhead, left-footed. Goalkeeper stands at the back end of his goal as it comes in, headed away by White. Kept alive by Brandon on the edge of the box, and he rifles it high over the bar. Oh,
that's a chance.
Sat for him perfectly there, actually.
It's
still difficult because it's outside the box, but what an opportunity it was.
I don't think it's that difficult. I think he's done the hard bit there. It's a good defensive clearance, first and foremost, and Brandon's done well. He's managed to get there in front of Nisbet, and he's knocked it forward about 5 yards, and the ball's just held up beautifully for him. I think he's got hit the target. He's 20 yards out, centre goal. His eyes have lit up there, and he just put it a yard over the top. It's a good chance.
It's not difficult for a striker with the ball like you, Robbo. For others,
mere mortals.
But that's an important point. I think somebody that's more accustomed to finding the back of the net than Jimmy Brandon, that is a really good opportunity, but just got under it. Didn't get over it well enough. But I'd agree with Robbo, absolutely. I mean, it's sat perfectly, stepping onto it. Nobody's really in his face. It's a big chance.
Scored an important goal in the semi-final against Partick Thistle in the second leg, early in the second half, when Thistle were still interested. And that killed the tie. Here's Lewis Smith on this near side. Dances away from Harmon, knocks it forward to Muirhead. The break of the ball favours Pittman. He's trying to get on the left foot to shoot. He does, but he drags it wide. Good foot or so wide there, Scott Pittman. And how often do you see him pop up in or around the box and in a scoring position? But he didn't really catch it, and it goes past, trundles past the right-hand post, and it stays County 1, Livy 0, 2-1 to the home team in aggregate.
Another big opportunity. They got a wee. It was actually some decent football played there. Then they got a wee break of the ball, and then Pittman goes. Montara just runs across him. You're thinking slip him in, and he takes it himself. But you know that'll settle Livingston down a wee bit. They say they've played some good stuff, and they're well in the game. And they say the goal was a blow. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And but listen, there's a lovely flow at the game so far, which is what we're after. We're hoping for a good match, and in the opening sort of 10 minutes or so here, we're certainly getting that.
It's far better than last Thursday, isn't it? Even just in the first 15 minutes or so.
Surface helps, does it?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. A good grass park will always beat any type of Astro, and this is certainly a good grass park.
Livy are replacing the Astro for the start of next season, which will be music to the ears of the detractors. That goes out for a throw-in over on the far side for Ross County. They don't appear to be in a big hurry to take it, but it eventually has been pulled up the line by Wright.
See on that point as well, I think from a player's perspective, it makes it, an Astro Park makes it more difficult to, you know, get players to join. I genuinely think you putting down a grass park makes it a more attractive proposition. So I don't think there are many players that would look at the Astro Park and not have some sort of doubt in their mind as to, do I really want to be going and playing 20 odd games a season on the Astro? I mean, Robbo may well disagree with it, but I don't think many players want to go and do that.
No, I've been consistent, Michael, in saying that if the AstroTurfs are of good quality.
So breaking the ball potentially for Hale here, and Ryan McGowan, be careful, he slipped.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he slipped, but the ref, who's Nick Walsh.
If the Astros are
given the free kick.
Getting back to that, if the quality of the likes of Falkirk have got, Airdrie, etc., and they're well maintained, great. But when they're used, like the Livingston one, for example, Kilmarnock, they're used for the community as well, which is a big thing, then they're not as good. There's no, and I agree with you 100%. If it's a pitch of this quality all day long and twice on a Sunday, but I've also seen some poor pitches that are rutted and bumpy and fiery at this time of year as well. But as I say, this needs must sometimes, but you can't gumble with this surface.
There's a big switch there from Randall, but there's an offside over on the far side, which goes against the Fete, and that will be a free kick to Livingston, who are behind in the match and the tie, and looking to respond here. Danny Wilson with a short free kick to his central defensive partner McGowan. Still lots of the game left. There's no panic stations at the moment for the visitors. As McGowan hits it long with the right foot, looking to get it in over the top. McKenna, he has done. Pittman couldn't quite get it past Nightingale, but Smith's onto it, onto the scraps, right hand side of the box, fires it across, and it's put behind for the corner there by Wright. He didn't know what was going on behind him, and he took no chances. It was an awkward ball to defend as well.
But it's poor from Ross County, because the top end of the park, I thought they were well structured. They forced Livy into a long ball, but then Pittman's run off the back of Noah Kennett, and he's all of a sudden, he's got the extra man Livy have in that attacking area just from a simple ball at the park. They've got to be far better set up and not allowing runners from midfield to be free.
Robbie Muirhead with the corner into the 6-yard area, headed away by Kenna. Hale picks up, facing his own goal at the edge of the box, back to Kenna now with Hale. Hale looking to get the afterburners on, Brandon sticking with him, that goes out to play for a County throw-in there off Fraser.
That was a Livy ball.
I think Pittman as well, Michael, when the cross came in, was gutted because he glanced at it and missed it completely there. But yeah, right there, I don't understand there. I don't understand what the referee gave it, but the fourth official could have helped him out because that was clearly a Livingston throw.
The fourth official's only got the spare shaving foam in the back of his trackies. That's all he's there for.
Bouncing ball comes all the way through to...
He's actually, Michael, a confession, he's actually the brother of one of my ex-players at Inverness Cally Thistle. Made his debut the other week there, fair play to him as a Premier League referee, so good on him. Good,
Duncan Nicholson.
Duncan Nicholson,
yeah.
His older brother Lewis, who played for Inverness, who unfortunately had to retire this week due to injury at the age of 21.
Well, that's terrible. 21.
Yeah, he's had 2 really bad cruciate knee injuries, unfortunately.
It's County on the ball on the far side here with Nisbet over on the touchline, midway inside the Livy half. Little dink ball into the penalty area. It's going to come to nothing. Just bobbles behind for the goal kick, which Prior will take. 18.5 minutes on the clock, and Don Cowie must be absolutely delighted. What a perfect start to the second leg it was when he saw Josh Nisbet tap the ball into the net to give his team the lead.
I think he'll be delighted with the scoreline, but you know, Livingston, you know, David Martindale won't be unhappy at how his team have responded to that goal.
There's again, you know, I don't know. It's obviously the full length of the park here, but I'm watching Noah Kennett. He's got Pittman, but then as soon as the ball's played long, he's off the back. I don't know if Noah Kennett is just ball watching and he's not aware of where Pittman's moving. But that ball goes up. Pittman's off the back of him, and he all of a sudden is challenging with Nightingale there.
His problem, Michael, is I think he feels that the three central defenders should be perhaps picking him up, but they're not.
No, but when you look at, you know, and I've been watching how they're setting up, they're being quite aggressive, they're getting forward, and the three centre-halves are picking other folk up. And if what happens in the end, if Muirhead ends up going and challenging for one with Nightingale and Pittman's continuing to run, he could be through on goal. The midfielder's got to be aware of where he is.
Thrown for Livy, midway inside the county half on the near side. Finlayson with it, looking for Brandon, who gets away from Nisbet, but he can't get away from Randall, who's onto it now, and now he's bursting across the halfway line. Is Connor Randall, nobody in navy blue ahead of him, is to hold it up. Turns it back to White, side football with the right to the right-hand side here, Nisbet. Checks in field away from Montagno. Then over to Akil Wright, right foot cross is good, it's headed away though by Finlayson. It was just a bit too high for White. Livy can't get it away. Brandon gives it straight to Kenna. Now it's Harmon. Harmon to White. Pushes it back out wide left. Harmon's onto it. He's fizzed it across the 6-yard line where Wilson clears. He'll come again, County here. Hale short to Kenna. He pokes it to Wright on the right-hand side. Slips it through to the right of the box there. Nisbet trying to keep it in play. Has done. Plays it back across. The cry of handball as it came back off Fraser. And Livy clear their lines into the centre circle. Nightingale, brilliant play, steps away from Muirhead, drives forward, moves it to the left for Harmon, passes it forward to the left angle of the box for Hale. His ball finds its way all the way through into the box. White flicks on, and he can only turn it behind for the goal kick, and it will stay County 1, Livingston 0 on the night.
Just far more entertaining already, the game. You know, we're just over 20 minutes into it, but there's a greater pace, a greater intensity. Just, as I said, more entertaining. It feels like there are more goals here.
Well, from a Livingston point of view, they've got to hang on to the fact that this is a Ross County team that hasn't kept a clean sheet in nearly 3 months. And that has to affect the back line. No, it's a...
Yeah, but they're both going for it, Liam, because you're talking rightly so. Great defending for Nightingale. He took a chance, because Muirhead nicks that to the side. Pittman's up Kenna again, as Michael's mentioned 2 or 3 times already. But he was strong, believed in himself, and immediately started up the counter-attack, which is again, both Maz have mentioned tonight, the transitions are going to be key. But it's a brilliant flow to the game so far.
It's going from one end to the other right now, and it's Livingston in possession, and it's Kelly stepping across the halfway line, then rolling it back into the centre circle for Brandon. Turns it to his right for McGowan. Back to Jamie Brandon. Then to Wilson. Back to McGowan on this near side. He's got Finlayson. He tries to put it forward. It's blocked by Campbell, who finds Nisbet. It's a little bit slack from Livingston as White goes down, fouled by Wilson. Almost on the halfway line, and it will be a County free kick. David Martindale is a picture of utter frustration down there.
The front players for Ross County, wee Nisbet, Hale and White, their interchange and link-up has been better than I've seen for a wee while from Ross County. I've got to say, they look like they've got a wee bit about them here tonight, and Livy are no far off it either. They're well and truly in the tie. There's no doubt about it, with only 1 goal, but certainly Ross County look like they've got a greater flow to that attacking play than I've seen in a good wee while. 3
out of the 10 times the playoffs have been contested since they were reintroduced in 13-14. We've seen the championship side come up. The other 7, obviously, the team in the top flight retaining their place there. And will it be the same? As it stands, it will be. Still plenty of this to go. That's a dreadful touch by Kelly. Hale's onto it. He's in the box and he scores! Oh, it's a disaster for Stephen Kelly. Ronan Hale onto it. If there's one man on this pitch you do not want to present that kind of gift to, it is Hale. 1 or 2 touches to set himself, and he drills it home. And Ross County have just moved a significant step closer to completing the hat-trick and staying in the top flight via the playoffs for the 3rd successive season. It is Ross County 2, Livingston 0 and 3-1 on aggregate.
Yeah, and that's, you could actually put a 1-yard circle around that spot. That's where Ronan Hale's last 3 goals here at the stadium have come from. He's been played in twice there. That's a terrible mistake. We talked about perhaps overplaying that little bit of an edge. They've closed it down. Kelly's been given the ball. He's took a very, very bad first touch. It's get nicked off him by Nisbet. Hale's in there, and unfortunately for Livingston, the form he's in, as we've said, there's no way he's missing that, and that is now a huge, huge mountain for Livingston to climb.
It's a sore one, isn't it? It really is. You get a feeling that could be a momentum shifter as well. You know, the other thing I was just going to say, when we talk about I was trying to make the point when the ball fell for Jimmy Brandon on the edge of the box. It's all right for the likes of Robbo. See if that had been Ronan Hale, it probably would have been in the back of the net. That opportunity that was for Livy at the other end. When he had the chance, Hale, you never doubted he was going to find the back of the net. Even though he was taking an extra touch to set himself, you still felt like he would have the composure and not panic to be able to slide it past Prior, and certainly it panned out that way.
It's a lovely finish, 18 for the season for Hale now, and he was driving down the right, helped by Nisbet, and behind for a Ross County corner here, and the roof is threatening to cave in here for Livingston. Next goal in this tie, if there's to be one, is going to be crucial. But County have an opportunity to potentially put the tie to bed right here and now.
There are more goals in this game. I'd be surprised if it finished like this.
And it comes from Harman. It's a big loopy one towards the left of the 6-yard box. White wins the header. Nodded for goal by Nightingale. What a chance! Albeit the flag's gone up against Kenna. It was. He's got the goal gaping in front of him. He's going to be absolutely delighted there was an offside flag there.
Livingston need to hang on now. They need to shut up shop here. They need to cool everyone down. Do what they've done early on. Get the ball up the other end of the park. Kill the momentum that County have got, because the way it's going at the moment, you could see County adding another goal here, because I say they've got the bit between their teeth. We said that about, you know, have that aspect of it. No excuses. They've come out. They've closed down. They know Livingston are going to pass out. Michael made the point of them being a much better football team, but they're picking them off now and they're putting them under severe pressure, and that's where that second goal's come from. And as you say, I'm with Michael here. There's no way this game's finishing 2-0.
Long throw-in coming up from Muirhead, level with the County 18-yard line. Into the box it comes, away by Campbell. Can only get it as far as Muirhead again on the left foot. Bends it in, it's too high for Montagno. County head clear, clever cushion header by Hale. Gets the angle onto it, out to that right-hand side for Efete's long clearance. Goes into the Livingston half where Pittman twists and turns it back to his goalkeeper at the edge of his box. Prior finds Finlayson on this near side. Long ball forward, looking to try and get Smith involved. Headed away by Nightingale. It's now with Muirhead, who wins the throw-in off Harman. Livingston need the next goal, it's as simple as that.
Yeah, they do, but you go back to, we talk about Championship, Premiership there, that you might have got away with a touch like that in the Championship, and the fact that they might not have been closing down as quickly, and it might have fallen to a forward, no disrespect to any forward in the Championship that might not have had the form and composure that Hale's on at the moment. You can't get away with that at this level. Kelly will be distraught, but as I say, right now, Livingston need to just calm down. They've got an opportunity to throw the ball in the box here. If they can get the next goal back again, it's back in the melting pot. But right now, County are well on top of them.
We played almost 28 minutes. Livingston have a free kick in an attacking position, about 6 yards from this near side touchline, just beyond the midway point of the County half. It's the man who made the mistake, Kelly, over it. Right-footed, swings it towards the back post. It is won by a Livy head, and there's a volley at goals blocked there. It was Muirhead on the left foot. He's going to have to settle for a corner on this near side. He got plenty on that, didn't he?
It was a good strike. It really was. But it's not as if Livy have been really bad. It's not as if they've played poorly, which I suppose is something for them to cling on to, that you still feel like if they can just keep their wits about them.
Muirhead with it towards the back post. It's a County head. Randall who gets it clear. Kelly keeps it alive, but he can't quite find Montagno. That's a poor touch in defence by Efete. Montagno on it now, pushes it back to Kelly. Down the line for Montagno. Level with the County 18-yard line. Montagno looking to work a 1-2. And it's put behind for another corner by County.
Yeah, I mean, they've actually, bizarrely, they've responded really well to both goals. They've come back into it and playing away, and say that they're not playing too badly. They said they'll be David Martin will be raging with both goals. The room afforded to Hale for the cutback, but the mistake is a real knock in the solar plexus.
In comes the corner, away by Fight towards his 18-yard line. Fraser, a nice bit of control, gets it back out to Kelly. Gets his cross in. It's a good header away by Campbell. And then Finlayson goes all the way back to, or rather Smith goes all the way back to his keeper. Prior dinks it back towards Smith on this near side. Former Hamilton youngster. Beaten to it by Randall, who can only put it out for a Livingston throw-in. Level with the edge of the centre circle. In the county half, right in front of Don Cowie. And it's bowled back to McGowan. He'll then shift it to the left of the centre circle for Stephen Kelly. He's reacted well to the mistake. You'd think his head would be swimming after that. He's got it into the box there for Pittman, but Nightingale's there to close the door. And he dinks it out for a throw into Livy over on that left-hand side. It has been a good response by Livingston, hasn't it? Because that is a double blow, losing those 2 goals.
No, it has. That's what I was saying in terms of they've not played poorly, but yeah, more specifically, right after the 2 goals, they've been all right. They've been fine, but the key is that they just stay in the game now. Because if they fall further behind, then it's it's well and truly good night.
Well, given what happened here 2 years ago, I'm ruling nothing out. There's a chance for Smith. Right-hand side of the box, going towards the byline. Down he goes. Ball was won by Harmon, though, and cleared by Campbell. Now for a throw-in on this near side to Livy again. This time Finlayson's over it. Muirhead might be coming back out to take one of his long throws again. In fact, that is exactly what's going to happen. It was me and you were here, yeah. Michael, wasn't it? Two years ago. I don't think John was with us for that one. Were you? Partick Thistle one?
No, I was here last year. But sometimes you think Livingston could just mix it up a wee bit, go short. Because County have dealt with every single one so far.
They got another corner from Muirhead's long throw. So they'll keep the pressure on here with 14 to half time. And Robbie Muirhead will come out to take again on the Livingston right as they attack the goal to the right. It's going to be an in-swinger from Muirhead. Plenty to hit in the middle in yellow and black. And it comes towards the back post. Amisa thought about coming, changed his mind, and a header at goal. And it's a good job he changed his mind, because he clutches onto it under his crossbar. 2 Livy players have collided with each other, and they're both going to, looks like, need some attention here from the medics. Amisa held on. He's a towering figure in that Ross County goal. And 6'6" of him. And he thought about coming out towards his 6-yard line there, and then it was a little moonwalk back towards his goal, and it was a good job he did.
Yeah, and there was a quick step forward again to recapture the ball after he sort of fumbled it. Just a wee bit moments of nerves in the Ross County backline, because the balls that Livy have put in from corners have been pretty good so far. Every one of them has been a competitive challenge from Livingston. I mean, when you look at, it's 2 big sides, but I would say that County are the bigger. Livy have got a few guys in there that can go and compete, but Ross County as a whole, you're looking at, they're a big team. But the balls into the box so far have looked like they're potentially going to cause some problems.
Well, Livy haven't lost any of the Premiership playoff matches that they've taken part in, including last Thursday. Of course, came up in 2018. Beaten Dundee United narrowly in the semis, and then going on to eventually comfortably beat Partick Thistle in the final. Relegated the Jags. They've been seen at the top table since. Of course, Livy's stay there ended a year ago, giving themselves the chance to bounce back at the first time of asking, but they are 2 goals adrift here. Looks as though the Livingston players will be okay. Finlayson was one of them. He's just jogging up the touchline in front of us, so he was the one who had to come off, and he's back on. And Amisa will launch it forward with the right foot. Plenty behind that. It's almost up at the edge of the opposition box. Lovely touch back there. White to Kenna. Now it's Harmon.
No chance. It came running off the.
It's a brilliant touch.
It came running off his shin pad.
Trying to give him the benefit of the doubt here.
Yeah, well, let's just be accurate though. It landed perfectly for Noah Kenna.
It looked good to a layman like me.
Robert, what do you think happened there?
Liam, I think you're still got your goggles on.
Enough of that. Enough.
Aberdeen celebratory
enough.
Weekend. I'm in Michael's camp here.
Eli Campbell will take the throw in on this near side, level with the Livy 18-yard line. Main stand side, County left, gets it back from Harmon to Campbell, back to Harmon, across it comes, cleared by McGowan, and out for a throw in on this near side, level with the 6-yard line this time for County. David Martindale down there, he's been furious for most of this first half, which has got just over 10 minutes left of. Ball up the line, Livingston win it back, cleared up towards Kelly, who then looks to feed it forward there to Muirhead. Controls it well on the right knees, out in the touchline now, no real option other than to win a throw-in, which he does. And he's going to leave it here for Finlayson. Former Northern Ireland under-21 international, though born in Glasgow. He's a youngster at Rangers as he bowls it forward. It comes off the head of right, back towards his own box though, flicked on by Pittman, and then out it goes for a throw into Livy on this near side, and for the umpteenth time there might be a chance for Robbie Muirhead here to try and find the County penalty box, though Finlayson has taken this one. He's taken it short. As John was hoping they'd mix things up, they have done on this occasion. Smith with a decent ball in, it's too high for Montagno though. It comes off the County defender and out for a Livingston corner over on that left-hand side. It is 2-0 County on the night and 3-1 in aggregate.
Yeah, that mixed up a wee bit. It's a decent ball in, but and I think the man we mentioned, Montagno, we've not really seen much of him tonight. That's, you know, David Martindale will want to get him into the game if he can.
It's Kelly's corner, it's very deep. It's looking for Danny Wilson, who is brilliant in the air, but it's headed away just before it got to him. McGowan wins another corner on the near side off Nightingale. How Martindale would love his team to score before half-time. Get themselves a foothold in this second leg. The second goal in particular was an absolute nightmare for his team. Muirhead's corner, left-footed, it's a poor one to the near post, so there was nobody in yellow, and it's cleared by Kenna on the post. Livingston will recycle it, it's back to Pittman in the centre circle, rolls it to the left for Fraser, long up and under ball with the left foot to the right-hand side of the box. Headed away by Harmon, picked up by Muirhead. He goes back to McGowan. McGowan with the right foot, looking for Montagno. Wright got there first, and his touch takes it out for a Livy throw. Down by the corner flag over on that far side, the Livy left. Montagno's going to leave this for Robbie Fraser. He's got Pittman moving towards him, but instead he goes to Kelly. It's back with Fraser. He passes it all the way back to Wilson, left of the centre circle. High ball pumped into the County box, headed away by Campbell to the edge of the area. Pittman tries to get something onto it and does. Montagno, is he fouled on the edge of the box? No, says referee Walsh. And then the slip from Fraser on the far side. He manages to get it back to Danny Wilson. Despite that, it's a long left foot ball to the right. It's headed down towards the edge of the D by Finlayson, and then Nightingale with a heavy touch comes off Kelly and ricochets all the way back to Amisa. It is Ross County 2, Livingston 0 on the night.
Well, I think obviously Don Cowie will now want to see this through at half-time without any Livingston goal to pull them back in the tie, because it couldn't have gone better for them. An early goal to settle the nerves, then a dreadful mistake, they capitalise it. And as we've both said, Livingston in the game playing a lot of good stuff, but they've not really tested Jordan Amisa. But the header that he sort of kind of touched up in the air and then grabbed it again, but apart from that, he's not really had anything to do. So for all Livingston's good play, they need to start to try and test the goalkeeper, because if they continue to throw high balls in the box, Michael just pointed out, you know, there's about 6 or 7 6'2", 6'3", 6'4 players in this Ross County team. They'll enjoy that. There'll not be a problem for it. They'll battle for it all day. But you know, Livingston need to get to half time at what's 2-0. In their respect, they'll want to get one back. But as you said already, Liam, the next goal in this game, if there is to be one, has to come to Livingston if they're going to have any chance.
Yeah, they've seen north of 60% of the ball in this first half, Livy. It is County who have a stranglehold on things, and actually on the scoreline relatively comfortable in the tie. And going into the closing minutes at Ammanvale on Thursday, you'd have forgiven Don Cowie for signing up for a 1-0 defeat and just take your chances tonight in the second leg at home. They got that penalty, it's made all the difference. There's a chance for Smith. Gets away from one challenge, up towards the edge of the county box. Lovely play. Driving into the box is brilliant from Smith! And he pulls Livy back to within one with an outstanding goal. And it's come at a brilliant time as well. Just over 5 minutes to the break. And the 600 Livingston fans up the other end of Victoria Park burst into life. A brilliant solo goal from Lewis Smith. And it is Ross County 2, Livingston 1, and 3-2 on aggregate. And it is game on again in the Highlands.
Take a bow. Oh my word. You talk about, you know, testing the goalkeeper. He tested the entire back three. He went waltzing past one. Looked like he'd get knocked over. Skipped past the second was momentum. The best bit was the third bit. A wee step over, took the ball away, and he rifled it. And what a goal that is. And as you've said there now, Liam, game on.
Sets things up brilliantly. It really does. It just adds to the sense and the perception that it's been a good game. It's been a really good game. In stark contrast to Thursday. It's grown and grown. It's just bubbling along really nicely.
Yeah, there's another thing to talk about, Michael, as well, and it's something I've said over the years. Tonight's basically a one-off. Why not do that? Why not just have two semis in a final like the English system? You maybe get more games like this rather than the sort of cagey first leg affair.
Well, yeah, you would have to play that neutral territory, wouldn't you? But I guess there are options with that. And it wouldn't surprise you if they go down that road. I was talking during the final on Saturday about extra time potentially being something that will be abolished at some point in perhaps the near future. But anyway, the long and the short of it is that Lewis Smith has just hauled Livingston back into this playoff.
Yeah, honestly, just as Rob was saying, a brilliant goal from Smith. It's you initially pick the ball up, you're thinking to yourself that one of the midfielders are going to get a nick on the ball. They didn't, and then it just became him in full flight, and it looked as if the defenders were anxious and nervous and trying to do something, and giving away a free kick and then a penalty kick. And that's that just goes to show you when you've got an attacker that is willing to go and commit and go and take players on. It's the worst thing for defenders. They do not want people running at them, especially at pace like that. And I think that's the perfect example of it.
Well, he was part of the Aki squad that was promoted into the Championship last year via the playoffs, beat Alloa and Cali Thistle in those playoffs. But what a special moment it was for him, and it will give these Livingston players all kinds of hope now that their promotion dream is still alive and kicking. It is now, by virtue of that magnificent solo goal. And it's Livy with a throw-in on the near side. Suddenly it just feels 3 minutes shy of the interval here, at least to the end of the 45, as though the pendulum is swinging a little bit towards the Championship side.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's an evenly balanced game. But I'm just going to say about Lewis Smith, that's another example of the good recruitment that David Martindale's put in at Livy in the last year. When you look at the last season in the top flight, they became a bit of a disparate mob.
Here he is again, Smith. He gets his cross ball in. It's a good one. Montagno's header, and Anita holds on. Well, he needed all of his 6'6" frame there, because Montagno's header was looping towards going underneath the crossbar there. And it will stay 2-1 County on the night and 3-2 in aggregate.
Just didn't get enough on it. Just needed to get a little bit more.
Just a bit more on it, but you're right. The pendulum in terms of tonight's game has swung again back into Livingston's favour, but County still hold that lead. But as we've said, we wanted, or we hoped we were going to get a free flow and attacking game of football. We've had it ever. We've had two really good goals, a huge mistake, chances for either side. You know, it's not often you'd say the Championship team would have the lion's share of possession. We're getting that. It's so finely balanced, and it's so polar opposite of what we witnessed on Thursday.
It's a good game, and Jordan White's been fouled by McGowan. He was into the book for that. Free kick County up the pitch here, but 10 yards from the near side touchline. In the attacking third, a chance to get Navy shirts in the box here, Michael.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of that height and that physicality that Ross County have got. But just touching on the Lewis Smith point I was making before about, you look at the recruitment that David Martindale's done, and I do think, looking at it last year, they became a bit of a group of players that there was no real identity to them. Now you look at that team, and bar a few, obviously it's a real strong Scottish core there of good players, and they're playing better football now as well.
It's going to be 3 minutes added on. We're into the 45th minute as Hale's free kick comes in, but he's missed everyone through that corridor between the goalkeeper and the defenders, and it's a goal kick to Livingston.
It drives you nuts. As a coach, I've said over the years to my players, half of you have to be across the post and the other half have to be beyond the post, and that way you're covering all bases. There's only one person made a run there, and it's beyond him, in front of him. There's 4 or 5 big boys standing at the back there, never going to get him in there. That's a decent ball.
Livy come forward, and now it's Montano at the edge of the box, dancing feet, rolls it to the right for Smith, inside the area, drags it away from the defender, pulls it across, a little flick from Muirhead. Nobody in yellow on the 6-yard line, and County clear. It's a good game, this. McGowan down the right-hand touchline for Smith, comes off Harmon, then back off Smith last, and that's a throw-in to County as we head into that stoppage time, which, as I said, is going to be 3 minutes, Mikey.
Livy didn't want to have to finish. They've got the bit between their teeth here and out, and almost perversely, it's Ross County that's probably thinking, please just get to half-time without any more goals. Because definitely Livingston are the side that you can see, you can sense it. They've got their tails up just now.
Finlayson wins a throw-in for his team. Level with the edge of the centre circle in the County half on this near side. And Finlayson is over it. Well, certainly that Smith goal will have changed perhaps what David Martindale is going to be saying to his players at the interval, because 2 goals behind, it's still relatively long way back. But now, as the offside flag goes up against Livingston,
what that goal does, it takes the panic out of Livingston, because you get the sense that 2-goal advantage, especially at half-time, there's still loads of time to go, and I would imagine David Martindale would have been saying to them, look, just get the next goal. But the longer it creeps along, the more of a panic starts to set in, whereas now you can just get a sense they've performed pretty well in the first half here. There is only 1 goal in it, and David Martindale will be saying, look, nothing to be panicking about, just keep playing the way you're playing and chances will come.
But does it inject panic into County?
A little bit, of course it does, because they're cruising, thinking we've got a bit of breathing space. Then it's and it boils down to what's deciding the game at the moment. 1 mistake. So therefore County will be thinking, oof, we can't make that mistake. And Livingston will be thinking they might just make that mistake. So that's the difference. I know we can't, but had you taken the Kelly mistake out of the game and it was 1-1, you'd be saying, not a lot in it, and there isn't a lot in it. But it's just been great. It's a breath of fresh air. And as you say, we're still a minute or so to go, and 45 plus to. There's still no real clue who's going to go up yet.
Well, it could be a long night. It could be a long night. It's headed away by McGowan, although if the pace keeps up like this, then perhaps there'll be nobody complaining. County have it on the far side with Will Nightingale. He's midway inside the Livingston half. We're into the final of the 3 minutes that were added. And then on the far side, Ifeti tumbles. He's not getting the free kick though. Livingston get it clear. County launch it back down the far side, but it finds touch, and Livy have the ball over there. And it's been a pretty breathless first half to this second leg. As it stands, Ross County retaining their place in the top flight. Here's Ronan Hale to the edge of the box looking for Nisbet. Smashed away though by his compatriot Ryan McGowan. Back come County. It's flicked in towards the edge of the box, but Wilson gets it back to Triar, who pulls it out to this near side, but he can't find Finlayson. David Martindale's got his head in his hands. Here come County with Hale. Not a great ball. Pittman prevents it getting to Nisbet. Livy can't get it away, and suddenly it's County looking to restore their 2-goal lead before the interval. The final seconds. In fact, that's the 3 minutes up. Nick Walsh will be blowing for half-time any second now. Indeed, there you go. The first half of the second leg's over. The tie's still in the melting pot here, though Ross County were doing their best to finish it before the half-time interval in the second leg. Taking the lead through Josh Nisbet. Ronan Hale's been the centre point for County. Set that one up as the Premiership side struck first in 7 minutes. And then on 24, the mistake by Stephen Kelly at the edge of his own box. He had it nicked off him, pickpocketed by Nisbet, who managed to slip it through to Hale, who fired County 2 goals in front, 2-0 on the night, and 3-1 in aggregate. But Lewis Smith's wonderful solo mazy run down the left-hand side. He drove into the box, And he managed to smash it across the bows of Misa into the far reverse right-hand corner to give Livingston all kinds of hope that they can yet be promoted at the first time of asking following their relegation 12 months ago. Half-time in Dingwall at the first half of the second leg. It is Ross County 2, Livingston 1, and 3-2 County lead on aggregate.
All the action.
From all the biggest games.
This is Sports Sound.
Oh, it's a goal!
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Another goal! This Wednesday night, the Key Sessions present Deacon Blue in concert.
Good evening, people of Embra!
Hear timeless classics and brand new music taken from their incredible Usher Hall set. And afterwards, I'll be in conversation with the band's very own Ricky Ross. That's Deacon Blue on the Key Sessions with me, Roddy Hart. Wednesday night from 8.
Thank you.
On BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
You're listening to Sports Sound live here on BBC Radio Scotland. You can watch the highlights of this game, extended highlights on Sports Scene tonight, 11:15 on BBC One Scotland. And in the week ahead, Monday to Friday, of course, the Scottish Football Daily podcast is published, and live women's football on Friday nights on the telly, Women's Nations League, Scotland against Austria. We are midway through the second leg of this Premiership playoff final. For a fair chunk of it, it felt more like Raith Rovers than Partick Thistle in terms of Ross County and their playoff exploits over the past couple of seasons. But Livingston were always in the game. They were always a threat. They certainly created, if not the best chances or the better chances, they certainly created more chances. And Lewis Smith has given them some hope with that magnificent goal. What a wonderful solo goal it was. That has reduced the leeway after Nisbet and Hale had put County up by 2-0. Quite apart from the drama and the tension and the anxiety and everything else that the fans will be feeling, John, what we're all being treated to is a right good game of football, aren't we?
Yes, that's the simple way to say it, Richard. It's been a wonderful, wonderful watch so far. And it's well already, it's probably got 3 or 4 times more highlights for tonight's package show than Thursday got in the entire 90 odd minutes. But no, you're bang on. If you break the game down, Livingston started really well. The first 6-7 minutes, and then County break, the ball gets cut out, and then they break again a minute later. Wonderful run from Hale, and it's a tremendous pick out. Yeah, and Josh Nisbet's got in there, perfect timing to side foot the ball home from 7 yards. And you thought that'll give County the big boost they needed, but Livy came back again, started to play a few bits and bobs, had a chance for Jamie Brandon, 20 yards out, got to hit the target, it's an easy strike, he lifts it a yard over the bar, then Pittman got through and scuffed one wide, and you're thinking, well, they're still in the game here, and then, you know, the defining moment of the first half, the ball's went to Kelly, it's a very, very poor first touch, he's robbed by Nisbet, who nicks it to Hale, and he slams it home. You think, oh my goodness, you know, I said it myself, there's a mountain for Livingston to climb, but they started getting back at it again. They came into it. Danny Wilson header was well said by Misa, and they kept going and kept going, but you didn't really see them opening up. And then the moment of the first half there, magnificent Lewis Smith picking it up, and he just basically glided past 3, maybe even 4 Ross County defenders before his last touch just took it wide of the right centre back, and he absolutely drilled it. A daisy cutter, bottom left hand corner, 2-1, and suddenly the whole mood in Dingwall changed. The Livy fans went up, the County fans were a wee bit down, you know, and suddenly Livingston believed they had an opportunity. Montano just about got a header there that went for a corner, and Livingston are fighting their way back into it. And we said the next goal at 2-0, the third goal had to come in the game, had to come to Livingston, and goodness me, it hasn't half changed the mood, but it really, really has been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful spectacle, wonderful game to watch. It's ebbed and flowed, end to end, you know, little half chances here and there. And as I said, the difference between the two teams right now is that one mistake from Liam Kelly, but there's still plenty of stuff to come in this second half. It really has been a joy to watch, and I'm hopeful we'll get exactly the same in the second 45 plus, probably these days at least 5 minutes, to see who's going to get that last place in the Premiership.
Yeah, and you've got to say that they might have just been worked a little bit, but if only for a minute or two. They've bounced back really well, Livingston. That was a real sickener, particularly the horrible way they conceded that second goal. But my goodness, they've shown an awful lot of spirit on top of everything else.
Yeah, they never. And the good thing about it is they didn't change their style. We touched on it at the top programme, Michael in particular, about how they're a far better football team, and people who have seen Livingston in the Premiership for the last 5 or 6 years would have seen a big, strong, attritional team who closed the opposition down, launched balls into the box, and went for big lads trying to get a nick on the corner, trying to win games 1-0 or just doing enough to win the matches. Whereas this season they've come down, and Dave Martindale's rebuilt. He's got a team now that has to go out and play, has to go out and attack teams in the Championship, which they've done all season. They've scored plenty of goals, and that's what it looks like now. They look like a team who are comfortable with the ball. They want to pass it to feet. They've got a willing runner in Pittman who's got behind many times, as Michael's mentioned. He's got in there and nearly got through 2 or 3 more times. Muirhead leads the line well. Montero and Smith in the wide areas are getting in, but there's lots to admire about them. They do knock it about. They mix their game up really well. Short, then long. Get the ball in the wide areas. They're throwing decent corners in to go and attack, although County are well equipped to deal with that. But I think they've been going into the Championship. Well, financially it's a blow to them. Football-wise, it's allowed them to breathe. It's allowed them to evolve and allowed them to develop this new style. And I'll tell you what, it's a lovely style to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Thoroughly enjoying watching both teams, it's got to be said. And we've certainly seen, just in terms of, Don Cowie said beforehand, didn't we need to play better. We need to play better football. Well, they've done that as well during the first 45.
Listen, Richard, I said before, we spoke about, on open all mics when we finally found out on the last day of the season that it was going to be Livingston and Ross County. All of the pundits were saying they fancy Livingston, they fancy Livingston, they fancy Livingston, and with good knowledge of it, because Livingston were on a run and hardly lost a game. County were on a run of no wins in 8, which went to no wins in 9 after the first leg. But it's difficult sometimes to see, having been involved in it as a manager, being involved in it as a director of football and as fans. The Premiership team are always going to come good at some stage. They're always going to have an opportunity. And they are sharp. They're a bit sharper to the ball at times, especially County have come back here feeling a lot more comfortable. They're on the grass. It's a magnificent surface, and by the way, it's not a surface that doesn't suit Livingston.
No, they've enjoyed it.
They've really enjoyed it. So that part of it's done there, and at 2-0 you're thinking it's just that wee bit of extra experience, that wee bit of higher intensity football they're used to is going to see County through here. But I tell you what, the bravery of Livingston to keep coming back. They've got their goal now, and as we say, we're now going to a second half where, yes, you still got to favour Ross County. They're the home side, they're the Premiership team, they're 2-1 up, but this tie is a long way from being finished.
Well, you think back 2 years, and then they were, of course, trailing to Partick Thistle. It got even worse, and then eventually they pulled off the great escape and made it through the skin of their teeth in the penalty shootout last season. Well, they were 2-1 up from the game in Kirkcaldy against Raith Rovers, 1-0 up at the break. So a 2-goal advantage at that point, and then scored immediately afterwards, and that was it, done and dusted. I don't think anyone could confidently say that they know for sure how this one is going to turn out. Livingston with the advantage on Thursday night, right up until the 5th minute of stoppage time when they got the penalty, did Sir Ross County, and you've got to say Ronan Hale smashed it into the bottom corner. He scored again this evening. That followed the opening goal, which was nicely tucked away by Josh Nish. But got to say, I thought Hale looked offside as he played the ball across, but they took their time, they drew the lines, and they're able to confirm that Ronan Hale was indeed onside. When he created that one, he then became the finisher of the second. For a spell there, you began to wonder if that was it, done and dusted, that County might just see it through. But Livingston have shown great resilience. They've played very well over the course of the 45 minutes so far, and they have certainly given themselves a chance. One thing that has certainly shone out to me is County get the ball, the goalkeeper gets the ball, they're going long every single time. They're not trying to play it from the back, whereas Livingston have been. And of course Stephen Kelly getting caught out. Fair to the youngster, and he's got a bit of experience now, Stephen. He didn't shy away from the ball thereafter. He's been involved. They have produced a lot of very good football. They've had a few moments where they have troubled Amisa, and of course Lewis Smith with that magnificent goal has breathed life back into Livingston hopes. The fans who had been very noisy early on had certainly quietened down. David Martindale was looking somewhat dejected for a period of time there. We can see him bouncing around generally in the technical area there, but he has been given renewed hope. Those players have. And Michael, we are set for what promises to be an absolutely barnstorming 45 minutes, aren't we?
Yeah, I would suggest so, because the first half was really good, and I'm hopeful as well, but I don't see how that dynamic is going to change too much in the second half. Perhaps it becomes even more open as Livingston in particular keep their foot down. I thought they were good. I thought they were really good. And Ross County, as I was saying, probably the first part of that half, they certainly looked like they had more attacking threat than I've seen from them in a wee while. So it sets itself up for what should be a very, very entertaining second half, and perhaps a later finish than you would particularly like, Richard.
Hey, if it happens, it happens, and it will just be another glorious chapter in the pantheon of Scottish football. We can take nothing for granted, absolutely nothing for granted in this incredible game that we all love. Jamie Brandon has led the Livingston players back out. Still no sign of Ross County. David Martindale's down there deep in conversation with Brian Rice as the Livingston substitutes leave the pitch. Of course, Andrew Shinnie among the Livy substitutes. I wonder if it's going to be a double celebration over the course of the last 48 hours for the Shinnie family after his brother Graham led Aberdeen to Scottish Cup glory at the weekend. His time might yet come. We don't know at this stage who the big hero will be on the night. Will it be one of those Livy players? Will it be one of the county stars who are just making their way back out onto the pitch? And they hold the narrowest of advantages. They lead on aggregate by 3-2. It's 2-1 on the night. The second half about to get up and running. Full live coverage here on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland with John Robertson, Michael Stewart and Liam McLeod.
2014 Hamilton came up relegating Hibs. The following year Motherwell kept Rangers in the second tier. And it was Kilmarnock overcoming Falkirk. The year after that one, before Hamilton edged Dundee United in 2017. Then it was Livy's turn against Partick Thistle. St Mirren saving their skins on penalties against United in 2019. Dundee relegating Kilmarnock in 21. St Johnstone overcoming Cally Thistle in 22. County have saved themselves the last 2 years against Partick Thistle and Raith Rovers respectively. So the SPFL season, which got underway on Friday the 2nd of August, with Falkirk beginning what was a romp to the title by beating Queen's Park in the opening day of the championship season, indeed the SPFL campaign. And it comes down to these 45 minutes to round everything off here in Dingwall as daylight begins to fade, as the Staggies get the second half underway, left to right in the navy blue and white and red, with Livingston in their yellow and black. No changes at the start of the second half as the long ball for County's cleared there at the edge of his own box by Finlayson. This bit almost got onto the scraps there, but it's going to be picked up by Finlayson down the right-hand touchline there for Livy to Smith. Forward to Pittman as Livy go right to left in this second half towards the academy end, and it's out on that far side for a throw-in to the visitors, which Pittman takes quickly. Now it's Smith, rolls into the edge of the box for Kelly. It's ball forwards, cut out by Akil Wright. And won back brilliantly by Wilson on Hale. Drives forward, gets the ball into the County box, headed away. Bouncing at the edge of the area. Randall can't get it clear though, and it's Kelly forcing it forward. There's a deflection over the bar. Well, it was Smith's effort, and he's again looking as though, had that not been deflected, or even with the deflection, that it was pretty close.
Well, I think the deflection was going to help it there, because Amisa had committed to going to his right, and it's deflecting. It's went about a couple of feet, if anything, over the bar, lands on the top of the net there. But what, again, similar to the first half, what a really good start from the visitors.
Muirhead takes the corner into the box. It's headed away by Kenna. And then Harman driving forward, getting onto it and playing it forward towards Hale, but Brandon wins it back, and now he's driving forward down the left. Livingston starting like a train here. In comes the cross, breaks to the edge of the D for Smith, though his pass is wayward. He couldn't play it out to Muirhead. It's now with Campbell, but the referee sounded his whistle because Harman's hurt himself. I think that was in trying to get the ball cleared just a moment ago. So it's a Misan goal for County. Wright, Nightingale, Campbell at the back. Ifeti, Kenna, Randall and Harman across the middle. Nisbet supporting White and Hale. For Livy, Prior in goal. Brandon, McGowan, Wilson and Fraser. Finlayson, Pittman, Kelly, Smith, Montagno, Muirhead. And there's a problem here for George Harman, John, by the looks of things, couple of minutes into the second half.
Listen, it was a frantic, start there. As I say, Livingston, they shot deflected over, and there's bodies everywhere, trying to get a flick on, try to hook it away, and Harman's just, it's a full-bloody challenge there. He got whacked into by, I think it was Smith, but listen, that's what you expect. It's it's cup final aspect to it. Everybody's getting stuck in about each other, and it's brilliant. Honestly, it's just been. I mean, even that, the atmosphere that first couple of minutes of the second half got was like a different, completely different species from what we saw Thursday. It was quiet. It was attritional. But tonight's just been brilliant. Both teams have just gone at it, and will continue to go at it.
It's a County team that has proven all season that they can't really defend properly. So Livingston, they conceded 2 themselves, which is quite unusual for them over the course of the season, really, but particularly the most recent months of the campaign, as they threaten to come up automatically. It's bowled back to Danny Wilson, who goes back to his goalkeeper. Prior clears. And County trying to win it back in the midfield. It was out for a throw-in, which Fraser's taken quickly, looking for Montagno. It's the Colombian down the left-hand side. Checks his run, and he's got 2 around him, and eventually it's he who commits the foul, and Ross County have got the free kick. But they've managed to score a couple of goals this evening, County, and they'd only scored more than once in their last 12 matches. So now 3-2 defeat to St Mirren in mid-April. So managing to score a couple of times has come at a good time for Don Cowie. So Misa prepares to take this free kick for County deep inside his own half. Long ball with the right foot up towards the edge of the Livy box. McGowan's there to prod it to his left for Fraser, who clears into the County halves, flicked on by Muirhead, but it's going to come all the way through to Amisa. You just suspect that we have got plenty more drama to come between now and full time. And in the 50th minute here, County 2-1 up on the night.
Yeah. Well, having done most of the games for Oakville Mike's, Liam, there's always been late drama in Dingwall. The amount of goals that have been scored in the final 15 minutes.
And Ronan Hale going for a spectacular effort, though he was in an offside position, despite the fact he managed to get the shot away. It went over the bar.
It's offside, it doesn't matter, but I'm surprised he tried to leather it. Striker like him, I'm expecting there's an awareness of where everybody is in moments like that, and Prior was well off his line. All he needed to do was really just get a bit of height in it, dink it over him. Instead he tried to leather it. As I said, it was a moot point because he was offside, but I was surprised with that finish.
Nisbet slipping it out to Jordan White over on the left, back down the line, but it's launched forward by the now recovered Harman. Now it's with Hale, who's looking to get it through to Nisbet. The keeper's changed his mind about coming. It's Nisbet across the face of goal and wide. Well, it was similar to Lewis Smith in the first half, that left-hand side of the box at the tail end. But this time it's dragged wide of the right-hand post across the keeper, and it stays County 2, Livy 1.
Did I see? No, I think the linesman put his flag up there, but I'm surprised at that because I thought he looked on.
No, he was on, Michael. He just the linesman was just giving the by kick signal. But that's what was said earlier. You know, at this level, if you make a mistake, you know, at championship level, you might well get away with it, but not here because there is the quality. That was Livy nearly shooting himself in the foot again.
Yeah, really poor touch by Conor Randall, and in the follow-up, trying to recover the situation, he's brought Montano down, level with the edge of the centre circle, in the County half, left to centre, and Stephen Kelly waits to take. Be desperate for Livingston to be promoted, then you can forget all about the error that right now is separating the two teams in the tie. It's the Livingston number 10 who's over this. Instructions coming from the Livy boss down below us. Kelly floats it to the right-hand side of the box. The header's won by Finlayson, but he can only head it behind for the goal kick harmlessly. It will stay County 2, Livy 1, and 3-2 to the Premiership side, looking to save their skins in the playoff final for the third successive season. Misa taking his time over this. He was initially brought to the club on a really short-term deal. He extended at the end of the season. Now he's signed for the next couple of campaigns. The big German, long ball forward with the right foot. Bobbles between White and McGowan's heads. It's going to break to Harmon on the left-hand side. Hale lays it back towards him first time, but sliding in Pittman to put it out for a throw-in over there for County. The floodlights on here at Victoria Park now. It's throw-in to Ross County over on that left-hand side. They got a man down. Is it Harmon down again? Came into the starting 11 for Don Cowie this evening, and it might be they're going to have to make a change here. Zach Ashworth, who dropped out of the team to make way for Harmon, is going to have to come on. So a little bit of a blow for County, John, given the experience that Harmon has, not just of playing for this County side, but in these playoff games.
Yeah, but he's not featured that heavily in the last 2-3 months. I think he's been injured and he's come in. Ashworth could come in and play centre back and push Campbell out. They've done that a few times, but the last few weeks Ashworth just went straight into that position. So it's a blow for Harmon, but it won't make much of a difference to County's shape or their setup, as say Ashworth's more than capable of playing out there.
The man on loan from Blackpool is on to replace Harmon. Throw in County, level with the edge of the D of the Livingston box, over on the County left as they attack the goal to the right. Long thrown into the areas, headed away by McGowan. Ashworth gets his first touch with a head down into the ground at the edge of the box where Finlayson launches it clear. And then trying to deal with it to Fete. Didn't look comfortable at any point there, but Randall gets his head onto it and gets it forward here towards the halfway line, but Nightingale out of position, loses it as Montano brings Randall down, but that could have gone the other way, to be honest. It's right in front of Nick Walsh.
There was about 3 or 4 challenges in that phase of play, and that one that he's given a free kick was the one that you were probably thinking was least meriting a foul.
I wonder if he'll give the phantom foul here, Michael. Realise he's made a wee mistake, and when this ball's thrown into the area, that he'll give County a free kick, because it's Montano fouled Randall.
That's what I thought,
absolutely no doubt about it.
Kelly will take the free kick. How costly is it going to be for County? And it comes into the box, flicked well behind by Finlayson, and it will be a goal kick to Ross County. We played almost 10 minutes of the second half here on Sports Sound, the final SPFL action of the season, the playoff final. County 3-2 up in aggregate, 2-1 on the night. BBC Radio Scotland on Extra, on 810 medium wave, on digital, online at bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. Highlights to come later this evening on the BBC Scotland channel. It is Pittman launching it forward. Montano's chasing. Nightingale's defending. Diving header by Nightingale. And then put out for the throw-in by Eli Campbell. Level with the County 18-yard line. Mikey.
I mean, we may well be getting deceived by the angle here, but I'm thinking, why is Nightingale letting that bounce?
It's a decent touch to the edge of the box. That's a free kick. Smith's been absolutely and unceremoniously brought crashing to the deck by Nightingale, who Michael said earlier looked a bit ungainly when he tried to head clear. And now he's given away a free kick in an outstanding position for Livingston. This is just slightly right of centre and maybe just about 22 yards from goal, John.
If you're a free kick expert, you are licking your lips at this one. It's just that nice distance. He could go up and over, although in saying that, you'll need planning permission for this Ross County wall. It's absolutely massive. So I'd be surprised if he tries to go over. I'm assuming he may go goalkeeper side, but the wall's a long way back as well. But Muirhead certainly got a dig in him, that's for sure. And it is if you're someone who takes free kicks, this is a brilliant spot to hit one from.
Nightingale was booked, unsurprisingly, for that. It was robust, to say the least. Kelly and Muirhead are over it. You would think it'll be Muirhead with that left foot of his. The ref's happy with the county wall now. Amisa crouching in the centre of his goal. This is in front of the Livy fans. Here goes Muirhead. Amisa saves, but the rebound from Wilson saved too. And then the header with the second rebound goes in. And the Livingston supporters, some are on the pitch here. Wilson and McGowan both attacked it. The second attempt there on the rebound is headed past Amisa, and Livingston, from 2 goals down in Dingwall, have squared the tie. It is Ross County 2, Livingston 2, and 3-3 in aggregate. Incredible.
Well, Jordan Amisa has got to be asking questions of his defence. That's shocking. He comes up with 2 brilliant saves, by the way, because the first one, even though I think it's quite central, is under the wall, and his reactions are so quick. He's up and he makes the second save. And where's the defence?
The only worry here,
Where is the defence?
The only worry here is maybe VAR, because
possible offside here, by the way.
Offside.
Yeah.
I don't think it might be the first one. You know what, people running in, and then, but I say with 2 incredible saves, and then still managed to, I don't know, was it Wilson in the end who managed to force it over the line with a header? But you just worry if, you know, strikers tend to...
Ryan McGowan got the final touch.
They like to run in. That's
Wilson had the previous one, yeah.
But I mean, he should have scored the second one. The first save's unbelievable, and Wilson should have scored.
No, Wilson, it's going down in the ledger as Wilson, according to.
Well, the first one,
there was a couple of bodies in the way there when it bobbled around.
The save from the free kicks, brilliant. This follow-up save is outstanding. How he's managed to save that is incredible.
And he gets his hand to the third one.
And he nearly got that one out as well. But
anyway, it's not. They're still drawing the lines here for a possible offside. So. We're waiting for the action to get back underway, but will it be from the centre, or will it be a free kick to Ross County? Are they about to get out of jail here?
My feelings on this are, this attack going up the park comes from Nightingale letting the ball bounce.
Goal's going to stand. Goal stands. The Livy supporters celebrate again, and this tie is level.
But as I said, that comes from a simple ball up the park that Nightingale allows to bounce. He has to dive and header it out, and then there's another phase where it comes in the middle of the park and he wipes out the Livy attacker, and now you get the free kick from it. Just simple defending, that you defend and do the basics right. They don't even get a free kick there, and then Jordan Amisa's come up with 2 really good saves, and he's got justifiably turning out his defence and going, where are you? Where are you?
Well, this is in the melting pot, isn't it, John? This could go either way now.
We've well spoken about what we wanted from tonight, and so far it's delivered it in absolute spades, end to end, chances either end, brilliant saves either end. A couple of mistakes have been capped. You know, you could talk Kelly's mistake. Michael's right. Nightingale can clear all that by just going attacking the ball. Volley it. He did it in the first half. Volley out of play for a throw in, and then get your bodies back from there. But they basically just recycled it, and then, as I say, 2 as a goalkeeper, you must be raging with your defence to produce 2 incredible saves.
Oh well.
And they get the third one past.
Just there, Muirhead was fouled in the centre circle there. At least it looked that way, but it's gone County's way, and David Martindale down below is slapping his hands in frustration.
I looked just. I didn't think it was a free kick to Livy personally. Just looked like Robbie Muirhead decided to start playing volleyball. But this is, I mean, what a game. I mean, David Martindale is absolutely buzzing. You know, he was distraught in that first half. But as this game's unfolded, you're not overly surprised by the scoreline here.
It looked like a foul by Pittman and Randall. Livingston play on, and it's Muirhead, gets away from the defender, gets the cross ball in, and Akil Wright to stretch his long left leg out to block it. Here they come again, Muirhead, bending it towards goal! What a finish from Robbie Muirhead! A stunning goal from Livy's top scorer has turned this tie in its head in the blink of an eye. Outstanding, curling, bending effort into the top left corner. One of the best goals you'll see this season on the final day of the season. And Livingston's promotion hopes have just received an almighty shot in the arm here. Ross County led this game 2-0. They're now trailing 3-2. And an incredible show of virtuosity from Muirhead makes it Ross County 2, Livingston 3.
Well, I wouldn't discount anything, but if Ross County come back from this, it's an almighty effort, because Livy have been pretty good all night, we've got to say, and they are well and truly on top now. You just feel that the momentum has swung so much in Livy's favour. That's a tremendous goal from Muirhead, it really is.
Even the first part of Michael, he's nutmegged Nightingale wide there again, whipped a great ball, and the Fetty's done brilliant to clear it. But it's come back to him, you're thinking, he's not going to try it, he's going to recycle it into the box. He has whipped it into the postage stamp, giving Amisa no chance. I said Livingston are a mountain to climb. Well, they've climbed it. It's whether they're just going to stay up there and enjoy the views now. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, they got to base camp by half-time, didn't they? Now they're ascending, spectacularly so. And it's the Championship side who edge back in front, 4-3 in aggregate. It's a stunning game, this. And there's still plenty more of it to go, by the way, because we're just beyond the hour mark. But Livingston, having been 2-0 down tonight, 3-2 up on the night, and 4-3 overall. And it's yet more end-of-season drama in Rossshire. We throw in here for County, who must be dazed and confused in equal measure here. Akil Wright with a long throw down the right-hand side. McGowan's the covering player for Livingston under pressure from Ronan Hale. Hale's pinched it off him, fires it back across. The touch there from Ashworth. The shot's blocked heroically by Finlayson. What a block that was, because Ashworth, I think, was set to score there.
What a game. What a game. You're right. Ashworth looks as if he's just destined to put it in the back of the net. He's blown a foul here, Nick Walsh, for Campbell's tackle, but I thought he got the ball, personally. I don't know why he's getting on such a long ledge as well, because it's a 50-50 challenge, and if he has caught McGowan, it's slight. But that's one he's let ones like that go. But goodness me, what an opportunity that was. I mean, he's set himself up, and it looks like, all intents and purposes, he's going to score. It's an unbelievable block. Half an hour plus to go. We asked for a great game, and by goodness me, fair play to both sides here. Both sides, they're delivering it, because it's just been incredible. You'd never gave Livy, we gave them a slight hope at 2-0 down. They need to get the next goal. My goodness me, to score 3 in what, 20 minutes? Either side of half-time. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, Livingston on top just now, but you wouldn't put it past County to be able to turn the tide themselves.
No, Michael, I was saying there, Liam, most of the drama and most of the goals in Dingwall this season have come in the last 6-7 minutes plus injury time. So, yeah. Trust me, there's still plenty to go yet.
Honestly, for nothing else, watch the highlights tonight on Sports Scene at 11:15 just for that Robbie Muirhead goal. Incredible strike. Already enjoying his best goal-scoring season. That's his 19th.
You're doing Lewis Smith an injustice.
Yeah, good point. You don't forget about that, given what we've seen even since then. But that is for... I mean, they're both different goals. The first one's the Maisie solo run. This one, incredible. See, I mean, 2 outstanding goals of Livingston back in front here. And it is the Lions on the ball down that right-hand side. Knocked in field to Pittman. They can't control, and it's launched clear by Campbell.
It's frenetic stuff as well. There is no let-up. the guys at the side of the park are all trying to tell their team to just like calm down a bit, but it's just the way of this game.
It's a lovely angle ball, left-hand side of the box. Randall and his effort saved by Prior. Here they come again, low ball towards the penalty spot, the one area in the box there is nobody in navy blue, and Livingston are able to clear, launched forward towards Muirhead.
But what a chance! What a chance that is for Randall. It's a great ball over the top, inch perfect.
Yeah.
He really should have scored.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a decent effort, it's a good save again by the keeper, but just again that bit of composure. And you see that the aspect of this is both teams are going for it. Neither team look like they can defend it, or don't look like they're capable of keeping a clean sheet from the end of the season, end of the game. Sorry.
County making a change, rolling the dice, and they're taking off Effete, and on comes Alex Samuel, defender off, striker on. Samuel dropped out of the starting 11 tonight, but he comes on, John.
Yeah, listen, I've said all right, he's the northern Simon Murray. He works his absolute socks off, covers every inch of the grass. He'll do what Muirhead's doing up the other end. He'll get his bum in there and he'll rattle into defenders, he'll knock them about. But what I've always found strange is when they go to this formation, they seem to drop Jordan White into the number 10 position, which is weird. I mean, they're stuck to the same formation, but at this stage, just play Jordan through the middle, play Hale off one side, Samuel off the other side.
White, he's doing some good backtracking there, and he's worked it to Randall, who'll know what a chance it was for him. Threads it forward, looking for Samuel, well defended by Danny Wilson, though. There's an opportunity here down the left-hand touchline for Fraser, which comes back across the halfway line, breaks to Ronan Hale, who's fouled by Brandon, and that will be a free kick to Ross County on this near side as they look to try and force more opportunities to test Jerome Prior. A quarter of the second leg left to go, and Ross County trailing 4-3 in aggregate, and as it stands, Ross County will be relegated. However, they've been in much bigger holes than this at this stage of playoffs. Look back 2 years ago. Ashworth will take this free kick, just about 6 yards from this near side touchline, level with the edge of the centre circle in the Livingston half. Left-footed from Ashworth, bends it to the left-hand side of the Livy box. It's headed down but wide over on the far side by Nightingale, and that will be a goal kick to Livingston, and it will stay County 2, Livingston 3, and 4-3 to the championship team on aggregate. And I mean, for Ross County, as I said, they've been in worse positions than this, but there can be no understating the importance for them as a club of these next 22 minutes plus stoppages. Long ball forward from Prior into the centre circle, comes off the head of Nightingale, flicked on by Flight. McGowan heads away, and then lashed clear by Stephen Kelly. Long towards Muirhead, he's got goal side of Nightingale, looking to get the contact on the ball to control. Nightingale does well to win it back though, and it's rolled calmly to Campbell, and then out to the left-hand side. Ashworth forward to White, holding off the Livingston skipper Brandon. Back to Campbell, long ball with the left foot, looking to get Hale in behind, but it's a good header there by McGowan, and he's found Fraser, who clears with the left foot. Out to the right-hand side it goes. It's Livingston attack the County penalty area, but it's Ashworth who gets there first, finds Nightingale, then out to that left-hand side for Campbell. What a game we have here, what a climax it could be as the ball's turned back to Amisa to run out towards the right-hand side of his box to get onto that. He then launches it clear, helped on its way by Hale, breaks to Fraser with a left foot. He goes back to his goalkeeper as Livingston prepare to bring Tete Yenge on.
Frantic. Just,
I mean, you can't take your eyes off it, can you?
I'm on edge just watching this. Yeah. I can only imagine what Don Kelly and David Martindale are thinking.
Well, Don Kelly will have a sweat on right now because their Premiership status is under the most serious of duress here. There's Jordan White poking with the outside of the right boot to the left-hand side of the area for Samuel. It's away from one and shoots, and it's saved by the keeper Prior at his near post. And it will stay 3-2 Livingston here in Dingwall and 4-3 overall.
It's going to be like this all the way in. I mean, the last attack as well, the jeopardy that both teams are playing. Muirhead gets beyond Nightingale, and his touch just just slips away from it, allows Nightingale that little half a yard to get back, otherwise he's through again. And we immediately go to the other end, and there's an opportunity. And I say, it's just, you just cannot take your eyes off this game tonight.
McGowan clears for Livingston to Brandon, to the right-hand side for Finlayson. Long right football forward onto the chest of Muirhead, gets out to the far side. Shifted infield by Smith, then down the line goes Montano. Back down the line for Smith. Looks up at the county box, decides to reverse it back out to Montano. Very deep ball, Muirhead couldn't make any contact on it, and it goes behind for the goal kick as he swung his left foot at it. And now the Livingston change will come, and Tete Yengi is going to come on for Livingston. So Montano off, Yengi on. Talk me through that one, Michael.
Well, I mean, David Martindale's preferred to play Tete Yengi down this left-hand side, so it's just going to be a like-for-like substitution, but certainly it's fresh legs, a bit of physicality as well. Yengi always strikes me as somebody that if he learned how to use his body more efficiently, he'd be an absolute animal. I mean, you just need to look at his shoulders. He is, if the rest of his body fills out as well, I mean, he'd be an absolute monster to play against. But even as he is, if he does use his body properly, he's a real handful.
Samuel chasing it, down he goes to the edge of the box, but it's gone against him. He's fouled Brandon, says Nick Walsh, right at the edge of the Livingston box as well. We are looking at a situation here where Livingston are 18 minutes plus stoppage time away from the Premiership.
Yeah, but they'll know themselves. Listen, the way this game's gone so far, they'll know. They're now looking for the next goal to kill the tie. They'll think they get the next goal, they're there, or touching it. But they also know that it only takes that, you've seen it already, a little bit of a mistake or a bit of magic, as we've seen at both ends, and suddenly we could be level again. So, as we say, we go in, and County will have to take more chances, because whereas Michael said in the first half that Livy were playing well, they still had plenty of time to try and get back into the game, albeit they needed the third goal of the match to go their way, which it did. County will still be thinking the same as well, that there's still going to be an opportunity for them.
County led 2-0 thanks to Nisbet and Hale. Smith with a wonderful solo goal made it 2-1 before the break. Wilson and Muirhead for Livingston in the second half. And here's Muirhead in the box, shoots wide. Amisa relieved this time as he thought about trying to dive to his right. He knew he wasn't getting there, but he's happy enough to watch it go out for a throw-in on this near side for County.
My concern for Ross County is that they've, I said before the game, defend properly, and I'm not sure they have. You look at the goals that they've conceded. The first one's a great goal from Smith, there's no doubt about that, but still you're thinking to yourself, defend a bit smarter, a bit wiser, and you don't allow that to happen. You kill it at source. And the second one, they don't defend the second balls.
Yengi looking for Pittman at the edge of the County box, but Nisbet's there to win it back and then give it away to Yengi. But fortunately for him, it ricochets to the path of Randall, who gets it clear into the Livy half. Fraser back to Wilson. Danny Wilson, what a goal-scoring impact he's had on the playoffs. He scored in the first leg against Partick Thistle in the semis, and he scored in both legs of the final. The veteran. Livingston pick up down that right-hand side. Pittman to Brandon. He moves it to the left of the centre circle for Fraser in his own half. Forward to Yengi on this near side. Back to Fraser. Fraser then rolls it back to his keeper. First time from Prior, up into the air, it goes up across halfway. Nisbet wins his header and he's found White. White goes down, he's looking for a free kick, he's not getting it. It's Danny Wilson for Livingston. Rolls it to this near side touchline for Fraser. The first time ball from Muirhead down the left flank. Yengi chasing. Wright's defending, trying to get it behind there, and Yengi's kept it in play, and then he barges right to the deck, and that will be a free kick to County on the near side. That's exactly what Michael was talking about.
Yeah. He's done brilliant actually to stop the ball going out, because it's not, Fetty's a big lad as well, big strong boy, but he's fought him off, and then it's a good foul. Foul him as far away from your goal as possible.
15 minutes to play. Livingston 4-3 up in aggregate, 3-2 on the night. And it is with Robbie Fraser on this near side. What a way for the SPFL season to conclude. There might be plenty more to come if County can find an equaliser, extra time and penalties in the offing, should that happen. But here come Livy. Yengi gets the flick, Muirhead driving towards the County box, and it just got away from him. And Wright can touch it back to Amisa. He drives it forward with the left foot, high across the halfway line. There was a foul there. And a yellow card as well for Finlayson as he brings Hale to the ground, and that will be a free kick to the home team in the centre circle as the away team look to bring on Stevie May for the final 14 minutes, as it is now, of the 90.
Well, that's what Livingston have got there. They've got experienced lads there. You know, they've got the likes of Stevie May to come on. They can bring on Shinnie, guys that have been around the block and know what they're up to. But right now, as I say, County have not changed. We spoke about it. They go long. They hope that Jordan White wins the headers. Then they play for knockdowns. Once they get the knockdowns, they'll start to play a wee bit there. But you know, Wilson and McGowan have really defended well against Jordan White. And as I say now, it's just going to be, can they hold out? County have got to start taking more and more chances.
Yeah, that's for sure. Robbie Muirhead coming off. The man who, as it stands, is sending Livingston back to the top flight at the first time of asking. Off he comes. On comes May. 19 goals he's managed this season. That will be the last, and what a finish it was. And is it going to be a golden goal for Livingston? Here's Wright for County. Moving into a central position, then going back into his own half for Nightingale. Look at Stevie May chasing it down, sliding in, winning the ball. And he goes out for a County throw on this near side.
There's no thought. Just no thought from the free kick. Play it out to Akil Wright. He's not set for it. He's got no idea of what he's trying to do with it before the ball arrives at his feet.
And May's right on top of him.
Once they've obviously recirculated the ball back to try to start again.
Michael. That's been the problem. You notice there's no wingers in the County squad. No, Henderson went down the road early to Ayr on loan. The boy Robertson could come on. He's really quick, but they don't play with wingers. And you see, you've now got three forwards in the attack. They've got to come through the middle, or as they've been doing, play it long and play for knockdowns. And that suited Wilson and McGowan all night.
There goes Samuels, peeled away from Wilson on the right. Wilson brings him down right-hand side of the box. Is he giving a corner? In fact, a goal kick he's giving. No free kick, no corner, goal kick.
Well, unless it flicks up and comes off of Samuel, it's got to be a corner or a free kick.
I thought it was a corner. I thought he's played the ball, but yeah, as you say, that maybe he's got help from his assistant there. But Samuel got away from Wilson. He done brilliant to get back and throw a leg in there just to make sure that he couldn't get any further.
12 of 90 left in Dingwall. It is Livingston on the ball, long up to the right-hand side. It slipped forward to May. May now level with the County 18-yard line. It's a Yengi, fresh air, chance though. If he makes good contact with that, he could have been looking at sealing Livingston's place in next season's top flight. As it is, it's still game on, and County have a free kick up the other end. Brandon with the foul on Samuel, and they've taken it quickly through Hale, but the ref wasn't ready. Wasn't taken from the correct spot, he says.
Well, he should have been ready. You know, honestly, get lost. The ball's like 3 feet away. I mean, just
let him get on with it.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the over-officious part of it. But again, this is County. They'll just throw balls into the box and hope to win a header, hope for a knockdown.
Well, because the quick, inventive play's been pulled up.
Free kick then. Ashworth takes it left-footed, bends it to the left-hand side of the box when it's headed away. Now it's Josh Nisbet. Looks up, gets the cross in with the left foot, but it's way too close to Prior, who clutches on with both gloves. And now it's just over 10 minutes left of this second leg, with Livingston leading 4-3 in aggregate. 3-2 on the night, having been 2-0 down. And the comeback that they've shown tonight is the very embodiment of what Livingston Football Club's all about and what they've been about this season. As Kenna gets it forward down the left there, and it's White. He has to go back into his own half though to Campbell. Campbell will roll it back to his keeper. Amisa comes to the edge of his box and clears with the right foot, but out it goes for a throw-in on the far side. It's getting a little bit ragged from a County point of view, and it's at the wrong time for them as well.
Yeah, they've got to make changes now. They're going to have to change their formation. It's as simple and straightforward as that. It's not working now. They've got to take one of their wing backs off, get another forward on.
Well, they're going to bring Kieran Phillips on, who was the man who scored the last time they won a game of football. Don't need to win this game. They could score, take it extra time, go to penalties as they did 2 years ago. Macaulay Tate will be on for Livingston shortly. Another who dropped out of David Martindale starting 11. We're in the 81st minute. And Livy have a throw-in just inside the county half over on the far side, which is bowled forward to May. May back to Kelly. Out to the right-hand side for Pittman. Back to Brandon. And then played all the way back to Prior at the edge of his box. Long ball forward with the left foot. Yengi controls it brilliantly.
You've got to say, Prior's pretty good with the ball at his feet. Takes the ball in from one side, opens up and pings it out to Tete Yengi. Inch perfect.
I'll tell you what, if Livy hang on, changing their pitch will be brilliant for them next season, because this surface has suited them down to the ground tonight. They've played absolutely brilliantly so far in this game.
We've seen a few teams bounce back immediately from relegations in recent seasons. We've seen the likes of Hearts and Kilmarnock and Dundee United. Dundee all bounce back at the first time of asking, not necessarily by winning the championship, but coming through via the playoffs. And as it stands, Livingston will be joining that group of teams to respond immediately. As Campbell goes back to his goalkeeper. Ross County, 13 out of the last 14 seasons have been spent dining at the top table. They've only got 8 minutes plus stoppages left to save themselves. Long ball from Akil Wright, flicked on by White. Hale couldn't control. Brandon's back onto it for Livy. Shifts it down that right-hand side for Smith. Smith's got pitched eat up here as he drives forward up towards the edge of the county box. Leah for Pittman. Sliding is Duan Kenna, and that's a really important challenge as he wins it back and clears. But this ball's coming straight back at the county defence here. Rolled out here by Fraser to Yengi. Little step over, level with the 6-yard line. Wins the corner off Connor Randall.
Certainly feels like Livy have got more about them just now. County just look dead on their feet, to be honest. Lacking ideas, bit one-dimensional, and they're just hitting and hope at times up the park.
83 on the clock. County 2, Livy 3. And a corner. And Josh Nisbet throwing the ball at Stephen Kelly to give him the ball for the corner, which eventually will be taken from this near side. In swinger coming up from Kelly. Livingston looking to put this to bed now. A very deep ball. Yengi's header blocked just about on the line there by County. It's launched away by Kenna up towards the halfway line. What have County got left? Ronan Hale looking to get it forward there, trying to get Phillips involved. Livy head clear only as far as Hale. Hale goes for the spectacular from distance, but it's a comfortable take for Prior down to his right, who holds on, and it stays 3-2 Livy on the night.
It's a good strike, but he's a fair distance out. I just wonder whether he should have been looking to try to either slip one of his teammates in or look to try and get just an extra pass and get further up the park and even bounce it off somebody else. He's such a clean striker of the ball, but it was a fair distance out. He'd managed to get a little bit of space, and you just think, look to try and bounce it off somebody, get 5-10 yards further up, get on the edge of the box, just inside the box, and try and get the strike away.
Yeah, Michael Nottingham's coming on as well, so there's a double change, the big defender.
No, I think Livy could be going to back five now, because County have thrown 4 up, they've gone 4-2-4. And I think this might just be, unless it's another defender coming off, but
it's Nottingham's coming on for Smith.
Right, so it's definitely, it looks like
for Kelly.
It could be a back five now, 5-4-1 maybe for Livy, and then try and catch him on the break.
85-minute mark just about, John. This is your favourite time when it comes to games at Dingwall this season.
And, you know, we've seen, I think the most we got up here, we got 9 minutes. One game there was 8 minutes when they played Hearts, scored twice in 96 and 98th minute, so they've scored. Oh, there've been so many goals for and against, and injury time's incredible. But we've had everything else so far tonight.
Long ball from Amisa comes all the way through off the head of Nottingham in his first act just to concede a corner. His manager's furious, he's just on.
Well, they're slow to react. I mean, I thought Amisa's put too much on it. All of a sudden it looked like Samuel was nicking him behind, and just looks like the Livy backline just slow to react to it.
One long ball from the county keeper draws a corner. And what can they come up with here? Their need is urgent. Into the back post, the header down's blocked. It was right, might well have been goal bound. Still alive. Down goes one of the county players, I think it was Phillips. No penalty. Livingston get it away. County will come again. Nisbet for Randall. Switches it right to left.
He's
over
lucky.
It comes to the far side.
He's fortunate because he mishit that.
And it comes from Nisbet, blocked by Nottingham, doing what he was sent on to do. May forward there, Yengi goes down, no foul. County a bit back, here's Wright. Do they have a big chance in them? Randall looks up, it looks too close to the keeper, it is, and Prior holds on. And another attacking phase comes to nothing for Ross County, and the seconds are slipping away from them.
It's amazing you throw things on there, and Nottingham like panic the first ball put in the box as it passed. I was watching it, they're all shouting at each other to pick up. You've got to pick up him because you're taking boys off who know their job, and suddenly somebody else has got, and Wright got free at the back post. It was a great opportunity. I think he just headed that against the Livingston lad who knew nothing much about it, but it looks like it's just a sit in and hold what we've got now from Livy.
Flick header from White, out to the right-hand side, chance for Phillips. His cross is cut out by Danny Wilson.
Jeez.
That's a dreadful ball. He's given it straight to Stevie May on the edge of the centre circle, in his own half though. Rolls it back down that right-hand side. Don Cowie standing down on the edge of his technical area, nothing he can do. There's less than 3 minutes of the 90 to play. His team is getting relegated as it stands. Do they have any playoff magic that they had against Partick Thistle here 2 years ago? I'm hearing there's going to be a minimum of 6 minutes added on at the end of this. As Wilson heads clear for Livy, it took the halfway line for Kenna, for County. It's a misunderstanding, I think, between Kenna and Nisbet. It's too much on the pass and it goes under Nisbet's foot, and out for a Livingston throw-in on the far side. It's all looking a little bit desperate from County right now. County 2, Livy 3. 4-3 to Livy on aggregate. And County, quite simply, John Robertson, are running out of time.
Yeah, they are, but what you've got to say is that right now, Livingston deserve the lead. You know, you can't argue that the fact that they've done it. They've created some good football, scored some wonderful goals, and what you've seen tonight from County is what they've been like all season. They've not created a great deal. They've created a few chances tonight, but not through open plays, kind of knockdowns, flick-ons, and getting behind. But right now, they need someone with a bit of composure, get the ball wide, get crosses in the box.
Defending's been their Achilles heel all season, and even at 2-0 up, you knew that this was still there was still a tie on here. Amisa launches it forward into the Livy half, comes off the head of Kenna, flicks it forward. White trying to get onto it, he's just pushed Brandon in the deck. No foul though. Hale might get onto this. Wilson gets there first, and eventually it's gone to Livingston.
That's not a free kick. I mean,
for a foul on McGowan.
It's not a free kick. Nick Walsh is just, I don't know what he's seeing, but I didn't see a free kick.
We have just ticked into minute 90 here on Sports Sound. The last 6 or 7 minutes of the season. And Ross County going down as it stands. Livy coming straight back up. It will be Jerome Prior with this free kick for Livingston. Just before the midway point of his own half. Long with the left foot to the edge of the County box. The header from Randall up into the air. Kenna heads it in field. Pittman gets onto it. Stevie May shoots. Held onto by Amisa. Wouldn't have ruled May out from there. And then Amisa's made a complete hash of the ball forward. Bounces in the midfield. Headed forward by Pittman. And then Wright gets there ahead of Yengi.
It's a terrible clearance. Well, it's not even a clearance, it's just a kick out his hands for Amisa, but he wasn't helped by it. It looked as if Campbell sort of ran in front of him, his own defender.
Looked like a foul by White, but Livingston's still on it, so 6 minutes have been confirmed. Livingston are 6 minutes from promotion. 6 minutes from going back up. And Ross County, 6-season stay, will come to a crashing end here. Given what happened against Partick Thistle 2 seasons ago, now there's time, there's hope for County. And a ball forward almost found Stevie May. It's launched clear by Wright up towards the halfway line. County can't retain the ball, just when they need to.
Their shape's gone completely. They're all over the place now. You know, there's no structure.
Robbie Fraser down to the corner flag, wins the throw-in off Randall. No, he doesn't. It's gone the other way.
Robbo's spot on. They've got all of these forward players on, but they're not even really in any positions. It's just, oh, we'll chuck an extra forward on. But you need to have some structure to actually utilise all those forward players you've got on.
Oh, and they've made a mess of it. Here's Stevie May picking up the mistake just inside the County box. Rolls it out wide left for Yenge. He's going to go to the corner flag, but then the offside flag goes up.
Talk about that. As soon as he gets it, just put your flag up. He's offside. You know you're going to put it up 5-10 seconds later. Look at now. There's just nothing.
Yeah, look, there's less than 5 minutes now for County. And Amisa launches it forward with the right foot into the Livingston half. The header won by Wilson. Another really good job he and McGowan have done tonight at keeping County at arm's length.
They've handled Jordan White really, really well tonight, the two of them. I think Jordan's won a couple of flick-ons, but generally speaking, I've done that. And the young boy Fraser's been excellent. He's tucked in. Finlayson's tucked in, and Brandon and Pittman in front have done a job.
But Robbo, apart from the first 20 minutes, there's not been any structure at County's, play. Jordan White.
Well, there's a header in the box. Samuel's giving chase, but Prior grabs it around about the edge of his 6-yard box. Stays down, holding on to the ball for dear life.
I couldn't really tell you what it is that County were looking to try to do. It's very scrappy and one that, the first 20 minutes was as good as the link-up as I'd seen for a while with County, with Nisbet, Hale and White. Since then, it's just become more and more disjointed.
County cannot get this clear. Now it's Yenge driving forward, but Phillips gets there and gets it clear, and then there's a foul on Kennett, but they're still deep inside their own half here. Ross County. Davy Martindale's away down the touchline on this near side. He's going to be celebrating soon if it stays like this. Just 3 minutes of stoppages left. His Livingston team 3-2 up in the night and 4-3 in aggregate. County, of course, left it late in the first leg, that Hale penalty. Do they have late drama left in them again?
That's a perfect example. The ball drops to Hale. He's literally got nothing to hit.
Oh, it's a dreadful touch by Wright, and Livingston are back onto it on the far side, though.
And again, look, he's
Hale
got
wins
nothing.
It back quickly.
There is literally nothing on the wide area at all.
Yeah, they've all gone central. Nisbet's trying to give him a wide option. In comes the cross from deep. It's headed away. County will try and come again here. It's Hale, first time, bends it into the box, but Prior holds on again. And yet more seconds tumble away from Ross County.
That's the first time that the Ashworth stayed wide, put a good ball in. It's well defended. Hale, your main striker, gets a touch, whips another ball into the exact area that you want him to be on the end of.
David Martindale's trying to whip the Livingston fans into a frenzy for one last push here.
And nobody runs across the keeper.
That's what I'm saying, that's exactly where you expect your striker to go.
But there's still 4 bodies in there.
Less than 2 minutes left. Right over the top, looking for Samuel, headed away by McGowan. And then by Wilson. Onto the header, Randall, back into the Livy half, helped on its way by Kenna, so too by Samuel, headed away by Wilson. How congested that central area of the pitch is, even both teams.
Randall's gone in there as well now. It's like there's no, you need width. Livingston have gone to a back 6. You need somebody wide to put across and give an angle on the ball.
Long ball out to that far side for County, is headed away up towards the halfway line. We're about 10 seconds or so away from going into the final minute of stoppage time. Long from Amisa this time, and then there's a little push by Phillips on Fraser, and that's a Livingston free kick. And it's all getting away from Don Cowie and Ross County as the Staggies bosses a look at his watch.
You've got to say it, and I think Robbo mentioned it about 10 minutes ago. Livy have deserved it. They deserved it. It's just become far too disjointed for Ross County over the course of the season.
And a calamitous end to the season as well is coming back to bite them big time here. It's back with Amisa. Long ball forward. 30 seconds to go. Bounces across the halfway line. Wilson wins the header. Then it's May, who just boots it as high up into the Dingwall sky as he can. Bounces away out of play on the far side. It's like the end of a rugby match. They're just kicking for touch as far up the pitch as they can. 10 seconds for County. This is done. This is done. There's no further checks going on, so this game is seconds away from finishing, and Yengi's in to absolutely finish it, but he does! Teddy Yengi in behind the defender, rifles it home, and Livingston are going up! A stunning climax on a night where they've come through the adversity of a 2-goal deficit. Teddy Yengi sends Livingston back to the top table at the first time of asking, and relegates Ross County, whose players look around them, look into their feet, look into the heavens. County are going down, Livingston are going up. That goal from Yengi makes it Ross County 2, Livingston 4, and 5-3 on aggregate.
All the action.
What a moment! From all the biggest games.
This is Sports Sound.
Oh, it's a goal!
From BBC Radio Scotland.
Another goal!
Do you know, that was a bit of premature celebration from the studio there, because I can tell you that as far as I'm aware, the final whistle hasn't actually gone, although it might well be that the referee has decided discretion is the better part of valour. He knows it's going to happen. He knows it's all over. This game is not going to resume. But the final whistle did not at any point sound, because Teddy Yengi smashed the ball in the net, then raced to the Livingston fans, and the Livingston fans engulfed him, and David Martindale was halfway across the Livingston half of the pitch celebrating. And now it is officially all over. It is all over for Ross County. What a horrendous conclusion to the campaign. End of February, beginning of March, looked like they were going to be absolutely fine, but the run, they have slipped away, and they lost 7 in the bounce. It's now a further 4 matches without victory, and that has seen them topple from the top flight. 6 successive years come to an end. That proud run of 12 out of 13 years in the top flight have come to an end. And it's Livingston who have bounced back at the first time of asking. Livingston who are celebrating. Their players, most of them, somewhere in the middle of the pitch there. The fans have come on. I've got to say that I know Alan Preston is taken against any kind of fans coming on the pitch to celebrate. The county fans have well and truly stayed in their places. There's no goading of the home fans as far as I can see. It is simply Livingston might be 1 or 2 being a bit silly over on the far side there, but in the main it is just simply Livingston fans out on the pitch celebrating. A lot of photographs being taken right now. David Martindale's just picked up a young lad and is giving him a big hug. It is a phenomenal night for Livingston Football Club. At the 3rd time of asking, County have finally had to give up. They pulled off the most remarkable escape against Partick Thistle. They cruised to victory against Wraith Rovers, and they looked as if they were cruising to victory against Livingston. They were 2-0 up within 24 minutes, but wow, David Martindale's team, who you've got to say were by some distance the better side over the 2 legs, not just tonight, but they were the better team on Thursday night, and then lost that late penalty to see the lead slip away. They came here hanging on to the 1-1 scoreline. They were 3-1 down in aggregate. But wow, they have turned it round, and they've turned it round with two of the best goals you will see. The magnificent solo effort from Lewis Smith. And Robbie Muirhead's absolutely magnificent curling effort from the angle of the box into the top corner. In the wake of that, Tete Yenge brushed off. Got to say, Campbell was absolutely distraught. Let's quickly go down.